This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It's Tuesday, May 11th. I'm Lindsay in for Tori here with Al and Jeff today. Hey, guys.
Did you see that fade in?
I did.
It looked like a filter, like we had on our phone or something. Cool.
So we got a little movie theme going on today. We all just lived through basically Outbreak, and our first story sounds like it's straight out of a Tom Clancy movie. But instead of Patriot games, this is gas games. Gas stations up and down the East Coast have closed their pumps, and there are long lines of cars from North Carolina even declaring a state of emergency. It's all because a computer hacker shut down a critical pipeline that runs all the way from Texas to New Jersey, which transports about 45% of the fuel used on the East Coast. The president has promised swift action, saying the Department of Energy is working to get the pipeline up by the end of the week. But how does this even happen? A Russian hacking group known as DarkSide is said to be responsible for launching a ransomware attack, holding the pipeline hostage until the company pays a ransom. But some are saying the U.S. should do much more. Here's what Newt Gingrich said on Fox News.
We ought to pass a law immediately that makes this kind of hacking subject to a death penalty, and the law should include a provision that the president, through a judicial process, should be able to order the killing of anybody overseas who's doing this.
I think that this makes us look so weak that somebody can just hack in and stop that much gas from going across the country from Texas to New Jersey. But I don't know, is Newt Gingrich overreacting, or what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Newt needs to hold his nukes up a little bit, right, in this case. So, I mean, first of all, we don't even know if it's Russia. It's a Russian hacking group. We don't even know if that's accurate, right? So I don't know if we want to like poke the bear as in Russia and like start pointing fingers at them and then have Newt Gingrich go all over world news and say, let's just go overseas and kill people. I don't know if that's the best idea to handle this.
Jeff, I'm going to push back. I think we just start killing people and then we'll figure it out. We'll figure out who we shouldn't have killed. You can't, like, that kind of stuff is barbaric and it's just to get headlines. It's ridiculous, but the sad thing is a lot of people will look at that as a solution. Another solution will be us to invest in things like our infrastructure, which is included in, to make sure that not only our bridges secure, but also we see how important like our cybersecurity is. But instead, we spend money on things like let's build more bombs to kill these people we don't know who they are. Like let's walk before we run.
But one option also is to pay these people, but then you can have copycats that will request money a week later, a month later, a year later, and keep doing this. And I think the U.S. just looks crazy and weak to me if we pay them.
But I think isn't our like saying like we don't negotiate with terrorists, and this is in some sort of terrorism, right? So I don't think we should pay them.
I feel you, but I think that it's not directly affecting you. You're a big boxing fan. Canelo Alvarez, probably the best boxer on the planet right now. His family member was kidnapped a couple years ago, and he paid them. And he got his family member back. A lot of people that go across seas, that is a way to make money. That's what the Captain Phillips was about, was it not? You know, so it does work. So I think it's easier to sit at DBL studios and say, I wouldn't pay, but like when they got Jordan, you're looking at your account like, here's what I can spend.
Yeah, but don't do that, Jeff. All right, listen.
We had a whole thing this morning. So I'm just kidding around.
We're continuing our movie theme. The next story is straight out of Revenge of the Nerds. Only this time, it features some well-known nerdy billionaires. We're getting some new details about a young Bill Gates from his biographer, which I can't believe. He claims that he was notorious for throwing naked pool parties with strippers he hired and for being a womanizer even after he met his future wife, Melinda Gates. Fellow billionaire Jeff Bezos is also making headlines for the $500 million he just splashed down for a new luxury mega yacht. The 412-foot boat that's being built as we speak is so big it needs a support yacht in its own helipad, according to Bloomberg. Meantime, Elon Musk is continuing to bask in the glow of his recent SNL performance, proving that he's not just a stellar CEO that runs companies like Tesla and SpaceX, but he also can rule the airwaves. If you put these three together and add in Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, they have a combined wealth of $574 billion. That's equal to the total value of all the goods and services made last year in Sweden. So how do you feel that all these people have so much power and influence? I have to just rewind and say that I separate nerds from like people who throw naked pool parties. I don't know why. I know Al's like men are just men if they want to do that, but like I don't see Bill Gates with allegedly a naked pool party full of women and womanizing his wife when he also has whiteboards lined out about should he get married or not.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Lindsay on this one, but sometimes I think when you have that much money, you just do what other people you think they want, right? Let's just have some girls there. Let's make it look like I'm a real popular person, even though I'm paying everyone that's here.
Yeah, you know what, Jeff? I think you're really just giving nerds a lot of credit here. Nerds are dudes, at least the ones we're talking about, these 4 men. And you don't get a 412-foot mega yacht for your homies. That's for women, all right? You're trying to get attention from women. The power that money gives allows women to come onto your yacht. They are no different than any other guy that's sitting next to you on the stool at Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't know why we look at them differently just because they can make some computer programs.
Do you guys think it's crazy that just 4 men combined have that much wealth? That it's like a wealth of a whole entire nation?
You know, I think a lot of people, like on a serious note, want that redistributed, right? Because they have so much money. But when I look at that number, this is the first thing I thought of. I thought it was actually going to be more.
Me too.
When I look at that number and I see those 4 guys only have $500 million in our country is giving out trillions of dollars as we speak, and unemployment and things like that.
Well, they have $500 billion combined. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but we're so far in debt as a country, as a government. We're trillions of dollars in debt, and even these guys can't even pay it off. Remember Ross Perot at one time was going to pay off our national debt when he ran for president? These 4 guys combined can't even come close to paying off our national debt.
Well, Jeff, that's what happens when you get into a 25-year war in Afghanistan, which no one knows what was the purpose of, how it ended, what we're doing. We've made some pretty bad financial decisions in this country. But also, I look at them, and it reminds me of, like, you know, when the Rockefellers first came along, when oil was the big thing, when railroads were a big deal, the people that were on the precipice of that and got to get there first, like Bill Gates did with computers, and basically the world's going to run on that for the next 100 years, you're going to have that kind of money.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, we have to get to this Houston Tiger story because I have to go back to this. Texas Tiger King, like the story we talked about yesterday, that's our last film, Tiger on the Loose. So if you recall, there was a tiger prowling around a Houston neighborhood over the weekend, and now it's gotten out. And there was even a confrontation with a man holding a gun to the tiger as it was about to pounce. Eventually, another man came and took the tiger back inside. Now that man has been arrested after a short police chase. It turns out he currently is out on bond after being charged in an unrelated murder. But get this. Yeah, it's crazy. But get this. He's saying that through his lawyer, the cat is not even his. Meantime, the tiger is still missing. Nobody knows where it is. So if you're wondering, do tigers make good pets? Here's what the head of the Humane Society said about it on the Today Show.
It is incredibly inhumane to have tigers in your house.
I'm glad we got a professional to clear that up.
I can't even say a word. Like, Texas allows tigers, apparently. I don't know. I need to read more into this. But, like, what is going on? I said the same question yesterday. It's not a real question, but I don't understand this story.
So there's a number, I don't know how true it is, but there's 3,000 to 5,000 tigers in captivity in Texas alone, and there's only 3,800 tigers in the rest of the world that are free. So there's more tigers in population than there are in the whole world.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we are. First of all, you can't say the tiger is not yours when you come out and get it like that and take it back inside.
And put it in the car.
That's your tiger, whether you know it or not. Whenever you walk it back in the house, that's yours now. Like, look, we have to be honest about what's going on here. Something was going on in that house. There's a random, unrelated murder attached to this young man.
We just skipped over that.
Yeah, something is going on with this gentleman, and it's just like, that's why it's like they always say it's these quiet suburban communities. It's like, that's why I live in the city, dog. Because at least the city, our stuff's out in the open.
Just so you know, it's an alleged murder. We don't know this man has not been convicted of murder. He might be a murderer.
No, he's got a tiger. He did it. I'm going on a limb.
Oh, man.
I'm kidding.
Coming up on DBL, we're catching up with Dukes of Hazzard heartthrob John Schneider, and our medical expert, Dr. Pyle Coley, is tackling the latest COVID-19 headlines. Don't go away.
Closed captioning provided by
Welcome back to DBL. With each passing week, even more developments push us closer towards the end of the pandemic. Dr. Payal Kohli joins us live, and today we want to get your take on some of the latest news. So the FDA just authorized the Pfizer vaccine for people ages 12 through 15 for emergency use. That makes it the first shot for anyone under 16. So Dr. Kohli, what else can you tell us about this development? Is this a huge step towards a normal life?
You guys, this is a huge, huge, huge step towards normalcy. So what we're seeing is that as we got our older adults vaccinated, the virus found a new host. And what we're seeing now is that almost 1 in 4 cases are in children. So the virus has shifted to our children. So the kids have essentially become a reservoir for the virus. So without vaccinating the kids, there is no way we could have kicked this virus's butt. So I'm really excited about this development because I think it's symbolic of the fact that we're winning this fight. And now with getting our kids vaccinated, we'll get them back to summer camps, back to school, back to get-togethers, back to all the things that make our life so fulfilling. So Al, I have to ask you, you have some adolescent kids. I know some parents are hesitant. Are you going to get your kids vaccinated if this gets authorized by Thursday?
You know what, Doc, just to show you how hesitant I am, I just want to pull this text up from last night at 7:49 p.m. I texted FDA authorizes Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for adolescents, and my ex just texted back, woohoo. So yes, we are definitely getting these kids vaccinated. I want to get them back to life. I want them to enjoy their young lives. We only get to be young 12, 13 once, so I don't want them in the house worried about some disease. And with that,
good choice, Al.
Yes, I'm gonna make sure they have fun. You know, they've dealt with this enough. It's time to move on. Speaking of moving on, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson just relaxed social distancing restrictions, including overnight stays for singles, which is way to just take all the steam out of that. He's basically saying casual sex. What does this mean for Great Britain? Do you think that's a good thing to okay overnight stays?
You know, I have to tell you, I've never been a fan of endorsing casual sex, but I will say that this is a positive development because it's really a sign that life is coming back to normal because of those vaccines. And we're seeing that as the uptake of vaccination increases in the UK, they've been struggling for so long with that variant. Their cases are coming down, their death numbers are in single digits. And so this is, to me, really a sign that we're headed in a positive direction. Now, I do want to warn all the Brits, if you are going to have casual sex, one very important question to ask, in addition to asking what you like to do in your free time, is whether or not your partner has been fully vaccinated.
Yes, and what's your last name is also a good one.
And Dr. Kohli, we're so looking forward to the idea that we maybe be able to get together this summer with everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Please.
Yes, let's do this.
So thank you so much, Dr. Kohli. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Doc.
Nearly 110.
The Colonial Pipeline is one of the country's main sources of fuel. Its closure could affect your summer travel. Let's connect the dots. The Colonial Pipeline runs from Texas to New Jersey. It carries more than 2.5 million barrels of fuel every day. That's everything from gasoline to heating oil to jet fuel. It's responsible for almost half of the entire East Coast fuel supply. So what's this mean for you? Experts say rising gas prices are a real concern. Anytime there's a supply issue, prices are likely to surge. But there could also be major impacts to air travel. The Colonial pipeline provides jet fuel to Charlotte Douglas International. More Americans are vaccinated and traveling, increasing that demand. Experts say we could really start feeling these effects if the pipeline remains shut down for 5 days. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Welcome back to DBL. John Schneider was a household name and teen heartthrob. I know something about that. Thanks to his breakout role as Bo Duke on the hit 80s TV show, The Dukes of Hazzard. We were lucky enough to catch up with John earlier from the road in today's Chatting with the Stars.
I just thought that maybe for once I'd found myself a real man.
Well, lady, maybe for once you have. Carl, you just put that money away till after they make that jump on Saturday.
Well, you can't do that.
Something we're gonna have to find out now, isn't it? And maybe me and the little lady here have something nice to talk about.
Woo! Welcome back to DBL. We all remember John Schneider from his breakout role as Bo Duke in The Dukes of Hazzard. And since the 80s, John hasn't stopped for a minute. John joins us live from the road on his way to Tennessee. Hey, John.
Hey, thank you, thank you.
How's your road trip going?
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here, by the way. I've enjoyed watching and listening to all of your stuff.
You fit right in, John. You're going to have to come join our panel one of these days. Now, you were considered a heartthrob in the 80s, of course. In fact, little known fact, one of our producers confessed that she had a poster of you on her wall growing up. So we got to ask you, who was on your wall when you were young?
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Who was on my? There was a poster. I don't know the woman's name, but it was called the Ski Bunny, and there was a woman skiing somewhere in Colorado. That was in. She had ski poles, and that was about all she was wearing.
Poster. Wait, John, I'm being told that we have the poster. Do we really? Do we?
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, we have
that's not
poster. Now, you do look handsome. That is the poster on our producer's wall.
Oh, but that poster, yes.
I wanted to see the ski bunny, the snow bunny.
I'm going to maybe Google it after. I'm not
Well, the ski bunny was pretty amazing. But, you know, I also had, you know, I did have a couple of Snap-on tool posters. You know, I've been a car guy forever, and Snap-on tools and, you know, girls wearing leather boots and bikinis, somehow that makes you tune a carburetor better. Still to this day.
Right.
So, John, you got the role. John, you got the role as Bo Duke when you were 18 years old. That had to be crazy. Did you have any idea that the Dukes of Hazzard would be what it is today?
I didn't think it was going to be canceled and shunned by a very small, loud, obnoxious part of our culture. But I did, you know, I was 18 years old. I didn't know I was going to be here this many years forward. But when Dukes of Hazzard was king of television, and remember, folks, that's when we had 3 networks, 3 channels, that was it. That little show right there you're looking at averaged 28 million people a week watching it.
Well, John, you've just done so much, and just to show our viewers how much you've done, you've also released a country album called Truck On, and we have a clip of the video for the song Truck On. Everybody take a look.
Oh.
Keep moving on as
Truck on.
I'm into it.
That just seems
Truck
like
on,
one
truck
of the that's like seems like a perfect, like you're playing pool in like an old school bar and that song comes on with good friends.
Or you're traveling across the United States like you seem to be doing.
In a cool RV.
In a cool RV, yeah. And those clips there, other than the guitar playing, that's me and my band. But the clips are from our movie Stand On It, which is our tribute to Smokey and the Bandit. After that movie came out, and once Dukes of Hazzard came out, Burt Reynolds and I became very good friends. And I promised that one day I would do what I could to bring, a guy in a hot car, who drove like nobody else, back to the big screen. So that's what we did. We are independent. We release our films ourselves at, here's my plug, JohnSchneiderStudios.com. We have our own streaming platform. It's called Cineflix, DOD. We are totally independent. We don't sell out. We don't want to. We are not looking for any big stores or any big companies to come and save us from independent thought, because I am an independent thinker, an independent entertainer, and I love every minute of what I do.
Awesome.
And so should you, by the way, because you all are great.
Thanks. Yeah, that's the future. What you're doing, John.
John, we love it. We're real friends. I appreciate you saying that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here.
I can tell that you all are real friends. That's terrific.
Because when you tease someone, you know that you really love them.
That's right.
John's new album, Truck On, is out now. To keep up with all of John's projects, visit, as he said, JohnSchneiderStudios.com.
And John, when you come out to Colorado, we're going to find ski poles for you.
Yes.
We're going to find her.
Love it. You look that up. Somewhere out there, that poster exists.
You better
Thank you,
believe
everybody.
it.
You take care. It was a pleasure being here. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify exists to clear up misinformation and answer your questions, big and small, about the coronavirus pandemic. One viewer named Carol asked us, quote, what metrics will determine when the pandemic is over? Is there a data target of sorts? So let's verify. What does it mean for a pandemic to end?
Pandemics don't end in a bang, but in a whimper.
That's our first source, Dr. Stephen Kissler with the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. And one way that the pandemic could end is simply that there's no more COVID. SARS-CoV-2 just stops spreading. But our experts say that this one is pretty unlikely.
So instead, what I think we'll be looking for is something where COVID poses a similar risk on the population level as other things that we're familiar with. Flu is another really good example here.
Dr. Linda Nabha, an infectious diseases expert from the University of Pittsburgh, agrees.
Infection rate, hospitalizations, and deaths are sort of the three major endpoints we look at, in addition to what we've talked about before is herd immunity.
Herd immunity is when enough of the population has been vaccinated to protect those who haven't been. And really, our experts say that the end of the pandemic will depend on where in the world you live. Here's an example. Let's take these two infectious diseases, HIV and tuberculosis. The WHO says that 1.5 million people still die from TB every year. And in 2019, almost 700,000 people died of HIV-related causes. Dr. Kissler believes that they're both still pandemics, but they're mostly affecting low to middle income countries.
I think that may be what we transition into, where under some definitions, SARS-CoV-2 will continue to be a pandemic.
So we can verify that we'll watch for infections, hospitalizations, and deaths to go down in order to reach some sort of end. But when that end is going to depend on where you live. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. If you've spent the past year doing any home improvement projects, it could help lower your insurance rates. We're chatting about it in today's Bang for Your Buck, presented by The Hartford. Home improvement projects that reduce the chance of property damage or burglary will save you money. We're talking about things like a new roof or security system. Kitchen upgrades can make a difference too. Plumbing and electrical renovations can reduce the risk of flooding and fire, which can lower your premium. Sometimes home insurance can also help pay for repairs or cover damage resulting from poor contract work. And certain upgrades will increase the value of your home, like a swimming pool. We've made it easy when it comes to quality and affordable insurance. The Bucks got your back. I've been waiting to say that. The Hartford will be happy to provide you solutions. Call The Hartford at 1-800-684-6085 or visit thehartford.com to learn more.
Yeah.
All right, can we talk about this tiger story one more time?
Yes.
Yeah, what did you want to get
I don't know. What do you guys think? You think the guy's going to go to jail? I mean, he already has some charges pending against him.
But, I mean, he clearly wasn't in jail up to this, and it's not illegal to have a tiger in Texas. We're going to send 3,000 other people to jail, right?
Yeah.
What was that number?
Yeah, whatever it is between there. They're just estimated between 3,000 and 5,000 somewhere. And we're not even talking about the Everglades. We were talking about in the break.
Yeah.
People are just letting animals go, and it's killing the whole ecosystem. So between Texas and Florida, we need to start thinking about passports for those states.
We got big problems. DBL is new every day. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, guys.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
It sounds like a movie. Hackers shut down a critical pipeline. Now gas stations are running dry. How does this even happen? The plot thickens in the wild tiger on the loose story in Houston. A man who could be the owner has been arrested, but where's the tiger? Are Ben and J.Lo back on? 17 years after their breakup, even Ben's bud, Matt, is weighing in.
I love them both. I hope it's true. That would be awesome.
And our week-long series with your favorite 80s stars continues with Candace Bure. We're asking her the question on everyone's mind.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin since her release from prison, and how is she doing?
Real, honest, entertaining, live.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Yes, welcome to DBL. It is Tuesday, May 11th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. All right, so we do have a little bit of a movie theme going on today. Our first story sounds like it's straight out of a Tom Clancy movie, so brace yourself. But instead of Patriot games, this is gas games, okay? Gas stations up and down the East Coast have closed their pumps. There are long lines of cars. North Carolina has even declared a state of emergency. It's all because computer hackers shut down a critical pipeline that runs all the way from Texas to New Jersey, which transports about 45% of the fuel used on the East Coast. The president has promised swift action, saying the Department of Energy is working to get the pipeline back up by the end of the week. So you may be wondering, how did this happen? Well, even this sounds like a separate movie plot. A Russian hacking group known as the Dark Side is said to be responsible for launching a ransomware attack, holding the pipeline hostage until the company pays them a hefty ransom. But some are saying, should the U.S. do more? Should they be even involved in this? Here's what Newt Gingrich, did I say that right?
Yes.
Said on Fox News.
Second time you got it.
Face.
We ought to pass a law immediately that makes this kind of hacking subject to a death penalty, and the law should include a provision that the president, through a judicial process, should be able to order the killing of anybody overseas who's doing this.
Wow. I did not expect that. That was the first time I heard.
I think it's appropriate if this is Game of Thrones. Like, what do you did we not do this during when Wells Fargo got hacked, or Chase, or Target? Like, what kind of law? That's not what we need from our leaders, even our former leaders. We need solutions, not bomb them. What are you, 7? Like, let's figure out why this happened. And a lot of this is when politicians go out and say we need to help, we need to beef up our infrastructure. They're talking about stuff like this, but people hear infrastructure and they think bridges, and their eyes roll back in their head. They think it's boring until you're in a 4-hour-long gas line.
Yeah, listen, nuking them is not the answer.
Yes.
That's definitely not the answer.
Almost never the answer.
But neither is paying them. You know, we should never negotiate with terrorists. This is kind of a terrorist situation that we're dealing with. We need to take it serious. I'm a little even nervous about throwing the word Russia around there. It's not Russia, it's a Russia terrorist group. Even that kind of scares me, because then people immediately go, well, let's just start bombing people. It's like, listen, they're a superpower, we're a superpower. It's not a good idea to be throwing down nuke weapons.
We have terrorist groups over here. What if we just started bombing the United States because
that's not a great idea.
Some rogue group did something?
Well, not only that, this company is saying, well, they're not saying much at all. But this isn't the first time that this has happened to a big company that could give out whatever hefty paycheck that this Dark Side is asking for. And when that happens, because I went down the rabbit hole.
The pipeline?
The Dark Side.
They give you a key. So this Dark Side gives them, don't look at me like, let me finish. The Dark Side gives them a key to unscramble the data. How cool is that? Is that not, I mean, it's not a real key, but it's the key to unscramble the data. I mean, it's not cool, but it's literally, it's just like, I can't even wrap my head around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's blown away.
I do.
Like, we're going to scramble all your data, and then if
find
you pay me, I'm going to give you a key to unscramble the data. That, to me, sounds like a movie plot that we've never even seen play out in a movie.
Yeah, I do find it interesting, Sam. I don't know if I find it cool, though, because right now we're the vulnerable ones. We're the ones that hopefully will be able to restore a fossil fuel pipeline. When we have these conversations about fossil fuel, we rarely talk about how much we are actually in need of fossil fuel. Yes, we need sustainable energy sources. Yes, we need green energy. But now we'll be having this conversation about how these things are going to be expedited, because the idea that a foreign adversary can come over and shut down our main source of energy, basically, and no one is like freaking out about this.
Oh, people are freaking out.
Interesting.
People are freaking out.
Well,
believe
I'm
me.
just saying.
And I corrected myself when I said the word
this is a conversation we should have.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It just blows my mind. Blows it. Okay, this next story is straight out of the Revenge of the Nerds. I hate you both. Stop. The movie. Only this time it features some well-known nerd billionaires. We're getting some new details about a young Bill Gates from his biographer. He claims Bill was notorious for throwing naked pool parties with strippers he hired, for being a womanizer, even after he met his future wife, Melinda Gates. Fellow billionaire Jeff Bezos is also making headlines for the billion he just splashed down for a new luxury mega yacht. The 412-foot boat that's being built as we speak is so big, it'll need a support yacht with its own helipad, according to Bloomberg. Meantime, Elon Musk is continuing to bask in the glow of his recent SNL performance, proving that he's not just a stellar CEO for companies like Tesla and SpaceX, but can also rule the airwaves. If you put these three together, and then also add in Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, because why not? Well, they have a combined wealth of $574 billion. That's equal to the total value of the goods and services made in Sweden last year. So how do you feel that these four people have so much power, so much influence? I don't think anybody should be able to have that much power and influence, in my opinion. Al?
I mean, this is what we talk about when we talk about deregulation. And like you look at the coal, the railroads. There was all these, oil. The people that initially got on these became the Rockefellers. They became these people with wealth that we still see today. And I just don't know if that has worked out well for us, Erica, Jeff, and Sam, as a people. When there's always 3 or 4, they're almost always men that have all the money, and the rest of us is like hoping there's some kind of trickle down. But it just doesn't seem like it works. It just seems like they figure out ways to hoard wealth, avoid taxes, and keep that money going. And no one ever gets any better. And these people who have a support yacht, first of all, first rapper to use that, they're my favorite. It doesn't seem like it works for the people.
Well, what do you think, though, really quickly, because before we get into the weeds, and maybe we shouldn't, considering this is daytime TV, but what do you think about Bill Gates being like this womanizer and throwing naked parties with strippers? I mean, I think a lot of people are shocked by that.
I think when you have money like that, you
allegedly.
When you have money like that, you throw a party that you think everybody wants, right? You're going to have girls there, you're going to have this there, you're going to have that there, and everyone's like, oh, Bill's so cool. It's not necessarily he's like with all those women, you know what I mean? He's paying people to be there so he looks popular.
I think you're overcompensating. I think someone like that, and I've seen it in the club. When I used to work as a waitress in the club, we would get a lot of Silicon Valley billionaires and millionaires coming in, and you could tell, were flaunting, were overcompensating. They would always have like a bevy of women around them, and I thought that was weird. And it was, to me, it was a turnoff. Like, love your brain, don't love your flex. Okay. All right. Finally, Erica, we've got an update to the Texas Tiger King-like story we talked about yesterday, Tiger on the Loose. If you recall, Erica, there was a tiger prowling a Houston neighborhood over the weekend. It had gotten out, and there was even a confrontation with a man holding a gun as the tiger was about to pounce. Eventually, another man came and took the tiger back inside. Now that man has been arrested after a short police chase. Turns out he's currently out on bond after being charged in an unrelated murder. But get this, he's saying through his lawyer that the cat is not his. And meantime, that tiger is still missing. And if you're wondering, do tigers make good pets? Here's what the head of the Humane Society said about it on the Today Show.
It is incredibly inhumane to have tigers in your house.
Erica?
Well, I would have rather talked about Bill Gates' naked pool parties, but
Go, Erica. Comment on both.
I just want to know, why is anybody surprised the fact that Bill Gates had naked pool parties at his house?
Thank you, Erica.
That is not a shocking revelation. I would have completely, and see, when you brought up the bottle service thing, I was like, girl, yes, that's exactly what I was going to say to you. The flex, the flex, the flex. Because after a while, what else are you spending your money on? Also, I'm not going to shame exotic dancers and people who decide to take their clothes off for a living. There is a whole billion-dollar sex industry, and a lot of people take part in it. So to act like this is something that's taboo in our society, it just simply is not at all.
I'm just going to, Eric, I'm going to tie both these stories together. I think the reason you have a tiger is to show off. I think the reason you have a yacht that has a baby yacht with it is to show off, and you're showing off for the opposite sex or same sex, whatever you are interested in. Bill Gates is no different. You're talking about bottle service in an entourage. You could have been describing any rapper, any rock star, any athlete. Everybody has these things because when you have money, you want to let people know. Even Bill Gates.
It's true.
With them glasses.
Jeffrey?
I don't know if it's showing off. I think sometimes you just need another form of entertainment.
No, it's showing off, Erica. For sure, it's showing off.
Honestly, you need entertainment. After a while, the regular stuff don't cut it.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know. Everybody wants to party like that sometimes. I'm sorry, even Bill Gates.
It does sound like a good time.
It's sad when everybody goes home and you're $1 million less and you're like, wow, I'm by myself.
Yeah, but you have
know
$1
what I mean?
million to spend.
It doesn't make you happy necessarily.
Wow, yes,
Well, let's try it and see.
Cute. Okay, coming up on DBL, we're talking to your favorite stars from the 80s, and today it's Full House actress Candace Bure.
DJ.
Yep, and we're asking her about her former castmate Lori Loughlin. Plus, are Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez back together? The new clues that could spell a rekindled romance between the stars. And our medical expert Dr. Payal Kohli is tackling the latest COVID-19 headlines. Don't go away.
Closed captioning provided by
You know how kids don't play outside as much as they used to? Well, now experts say that trend has an unusual side effect. Children's eyesight is getting worse. Let's connect the dots. Nearsightedness is on the rise in kids. Also known as myopia, that's when you can see up close objects clearly, but things that are far away are fuzzy. It can be caused by genetics and the environment. But experts say myopia has increased so rapidly that it can't be blamed on genetics. In the United States alone, it's gone from 25% of the population back in the 70s to 42% today. In Southeastern and Eastern Asia, it's estimated 80 to 90% of high schoolers are nearsighted. So what is causing this increase? It might seem easy to blame all that screen time kids have these days, but experts say that's not the direct reason. It's actually because children are getting less natural light. Researchers say exposure to daylight and focusing on things far away outside can delay the onset of myopia. And the pandemic has made things worse. New research shows the eyesight of children quarantined during the onset of coronavirus deteriorated rapidly. There is something parents can do about it. Experts say it's not practical to take away screens altogether, but you can impose some rules. They recommend a practice called 20-20-20. That's where you take regular breaks every 20 minutes to look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And of course, more time outside could make a real difference. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Each new positive development in the pandemic brings us closer towards the end. Earlier, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, spoke to Al and Lindsay about some of today's latest COVID-19 news. Take a look.
So the FDA just authorized the Pfizer vaccine for people ages 12 through 15 for emergency use. That makes it the first shot for anyone under 16. So Dr. Kohli, what else can you tell us about this development? Is this a huge step towards a normal life?
You guys, this is a huge, huge, huge step towards normalcy. So what we're seeing is that as we got our older adults vaccinated, the virus found a new host. And what we're seeing now is that almost 1 in 4 cases are in children. So the virus has shifted to our children. So the kids have essentially become a reservoir for the virus. So without vaccinating the kids, there is no way we could have kicked this virus's butt. So I'm really excited about this development because I think it's symbolic of the fact that we're winning this fight. And now with getting our kids vaccinated, we'll get them back to summer camps, back to school, back to get-togethers, back to all the things that make our life so fulfilling. So Al, I have to ask you, you have some adolescent kids. I know some parents are hesitant. Are you going to get your kids vaccinated if this gets authorized by Thursday?
You know what, Doc, just to show you how hesitant I am, I just want to pull this text up from last night at 7:49 p.m. I texted FDA authorizes Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for adolescents, and my ex just texted back, Woohoo! So yes, we are definitely getting these kids vaccinated. I want to get them back to life. I want them to enjoy their young lives. We only get to be young 12, 13 once, so I don't want them in the house worried about some disease. And with that,
good choice, Al.
Yes, I'm gonna make sure they have fun. You know, they've dealt with this enough. It's time to move on. Speaking of moving on, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson just relaxed social distancing restrictions, including overnight stays for singles, which is way to just take all the steam out of that. He's basically saying casual sex. What does this mean for Great Britain? Do you think that's a good thing to okay overnight stays?
You know, I have to tell you, I've never been a fan of endorsing casual sex, but I will say that this is a positive development because it's really a sign that life is coming back to normal because of those vaccines. And we're seeing that as the uptake of vaccination increases in the UK, they've been struggling for so long with that variant. Their cases are coming down, their death numbers are in single digits. And so this is, to me, really a sign that we're headed in a positive direction. Now, I do want to warn all the Brits, if you are going to have casual sex, one very important question to ask, in addition to asking what you like to do in your free time, is whether or not your partner has been fully vaccinated.
Yes, and what's your last name is also a good one.
And Dr. Coley, we're so looking forward to the idea that we maybe be able to get together this summer with everybody.
Oh, my goodness.
Please.
Yes, let's do this.
So thank you so much, Dr. Coley. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Doc.
Nearly 110 million people were victims of
The Colonial Pipeline is one of the country's main sources of fuel. Its closure could affect your summer travel. Let's connect the dots. The Colonial Pipeline runs from Texas to New Jersey. It carries more than 2.5 million barrels of fuel every day. That's everything from gasoline to heating oil to jet fuel. It's responsible for almost half of the entire East Coast fuel supply. So what's this mean for you? Experts say rising gas prices are a real concern. Anytime there's a supply issue, prices are likely to surge. But there could also be major impacts to air travel. The Colonial Pipeline provides jet fuel to Charlotte Douglas International. More Americans are vaccinated and traveling, increasing that demand. Experts say we could really start feeling these effects if the pipeline remains shut down for 5 days. And that is connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. We all know people, and maybe you're one of them, that are totally obsessed with their smartphones. Well, now there's a new landmark study that's out that says smartphone users have become, quote, human snails carrying our homes in our pocket, and that we now have a tendency to ignore friends and family in favor of our phones. So the question is, do you know anyone like this? And what does this mean for us and our relationships if we can just disappear into our smartphones and ignore the real world around us? I wouldn't say this is anything new. Right? I mean, I'm glad that we have yet another study, and I know your feelings on studies, but this isn't anything new. I hate my phone. I hate it. I have a hate-love relationship with it.
No, you just said you loved it.
I know, but it gives me anxiety. I tend to get addicted to things, so I have to put it away when I get home.
And that's what I do. This is something that I take like seriously, and I actively I'm like, what am I doing with my phone? I kind of, like I said, I'm off social media right now. I'm taking a break from. When I get home, I just want to play with my kids.
Same.
I'm with my family. Someone's going to text me. I want to be with my family. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. But you have to actively work at it.
I feel like Erica's always had like really kind of solid rules when it comes to your phone, like especially when you get home. Is that true, or am I just putting that on you?
No, I appreciate that. This something I said during like the first week of season 1 has stuck with you for like 4 years. That means so much to me. It really does. It really does, because what I was saying was that in order to protect my space and my energy, it's really important that I do not allow social media, like people who I would never invite into my home, to come into my home in this way. So I have to be the guardian of that ship. But I have to tell you, the busier and more spread out you are, it's so much harder to do that. So I'm definitely guilty of it because I'm working. Like, we use our phone to work, and so does my husband. So that's been very difficult. But at the same time, there is a way to do it and not feel like completely stressed out by it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Sam, because you run a business at home, so you need to be on your phone, but like you have a love-hate relationship, you have 2 kids you're crazy about. Like, how do you balance that? Because I'm sure a lot of our viewers have at least one side hustle, if not 2.
Right. I had to compartmentalize. And so in the beginning, I had the mentality of like out of sight, out of mind. So every email I would want to tackle, every text message I would want to tackle, just so it wouldn't build up. And then I realized I was always half present with my children. And it became very depressing, and I knew that there was this void here that I was mishandling. So now I dedicate maybe half an hour at the end of the day to go through emails, maybe an hour in the morning, and that has completely saved me, not only as a co-business owner, but as a parent. So
that's great.
Yeah,
that's smart.
It's a daily battle, though, let me tell you. Okay, so coming up on DBL, we are chatting with Fuller House star Candace Bure and asking her if she's spoken to Lori Loughlin since her release from prison. You do not want to miss that. Still ahead on DBL.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify exists to clear up misinformation and answer your questions, big and small, about the coronavirus pandemic. One viewer named Carol asked us, quote, "What metrics will determine when the pandemic is over? Is there a data target of sorts?" So let's verify. What does it mean for a pandemic to end?
Pandemics don't end in a bang, but in a whimper.
That's our first source, Dr. Stephen Kissler with the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. And one way that the pandemic could end is simply that there's no more COVID. SARS-CoV-2 just stops spreading. But our experts say that this one is pretty unlikely.
So instead, what I think we'll be looking for is something where COVID poses a similar risk on a population level as other things that we're familiar with. Flu is another really good example here.
Dr. Linda Nabha, an infectious diseases expert from the University of Pittsburgh, agrees.
Infection rate, hospitalizations, and deaths are sort of the 3 major endpoints we look at, in addition to what we've talked about before is herd immunity.
Herd immunity is when enough of the population has been vaccinated to protect those who haven't been. And really, our experts say that the end of the pandemic will depend on where in the world you live. Here's an example. Let's take these 2 infectious diseases, HIV and tuberculosis. The WHO says that 1.5 million people still die from TB every year. And in 2019, almost 700,000 people died of HIV-related causes. Dr. Kissler believes that they're both still pandemics, but they're mostly affecting low to middle income countries.
I think that may be what we transition into, where under some definitions, SARS-CoV-2 will continue to be a pandemic.
So we can verify that we'll watch for infections, hospitalizations, and deaths to go down in order to reach some sort of end. But when that end is going to depend on where you live. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. Okay, so Debbie on Facebook says ransomware is no joke and it's not new. Jan on Facebook says, I always told my son to be nice to the quote unquote nerds he was in school with because one day you just may be working for them.
Mm-hmm. And also, I think everybody's a nerd about something.
Yeah, I do too.
Right? Don't you? Some people, you look at people that are into sports, but they're only into like GM, salary caps and things like that.
What?
That's nerd. Like salary caps, like figuring out which players you can sign because of their, and like that's math. But it just is associated with baseball, so you're allowed to kind of say, oh, I'm into sports, but you're just into math. It's cool.
Is that something that you're into? That's pretty cool.
I'm more into like analytics in terms of like how many 3-pointers you should shoot as opposed to taking 2-pointers and just.
I like it.
That's like it's interesting.
Yeah, very cool. If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube, chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be a part of our DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up. We are catching up with Full House star and Hallmark movie queen Candace Bure. Plus, are Ben and Jen together again? The new clues that could mean a renewed romance between Ben Affleck and J.Lo. And a big thank you to our coworkers watching from home right now. We miss you guys. Keep up the great work. DBL is new every day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. So big news in Hollywood. Could Bennifer be back on? Jennifer Lopez and her ex Ben Affleck were recently spotted hanging out in Montana this past weekend. According to TMZ, they were staying at the same resort in Big Sky near Yellowstone National Park and were seen driving around together. As you remember, the two were nicknamed Bennifer back in the early 2000s when they dated. They got engaged, but then broke it off in 2004. Still, Ben's BFF, Matt Damon, told the Today Show he's hopeful that the two have rekindled their romance. Watch.
It's a fascinating story.
All right, should we let him off the hook?
I hope it's true. I love them both. I hope it's true. That would be awesome.
Meantime, J.Lo's ex, Alex Rodriguez, was reportedly shocked and caught off guard about the reunion as he believed the two would one day get back together. J.Lo and Ben haven't commented about their relationship. I heard you have a theory.
Ooh, I do.
Ooh.
Talk to me. I haven't heard this.
So Alex Rodriguez was allegedly with Madison LaCroix, okay, from Southern Charm. So my theory is everyone has an ex that your partner is always jealous of, right? They always bring him up. What's with you and this person? What's with you and that person?
Why are they texting you happy birthday?
Yeah, exactly. So that person for their relationship was Ben Affleck. So she's like, you want to mess around with this reality star? No problem. I'm just going to spend a weekend with Ben Affleck in Montana. How's that make you feel, A-Rod?
Yep. And like,
Erica, what do you think?
It's an interesting theory.
I appreciate that.
It is very interesting. Yeah, I do remember the end of this relationship, though, and it seemed like a lot was left unresolved. In fact, I think Jiggly actually, was that the name of the movie?
Jiggly, I
That's
think.
the name of Lindsay's dog is Jiggly. Jiggly was the...
That's not the name of her dog.
Jiggly was the spoof X-rated movie.
That is the name of her dog. All right, let's not get off on that.
No, it's not.
All right, we'll solve this at the end of the show.
She named it after Jay-Z. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, it felt like that kind of forced the end of that relationship.
I once saw J.Lo and Ben Affleck driving together in a convertible gold, I guess it was like a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. It was one of those like bigger, really fancy cars. And let me tell you, I almost crashed my car as I was like spying on them. As
More stalking stories from Sam. No,
you saw Ben
I knew
Affleck
that was coming from Al.
If you saw Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez driving in a convertible gold Rolls Royce way back when, you wouldn't have rubbernecked?
Not at all. That's not.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just going to say this about my theory, and I'm going to try and keep this super daytime. But I think that everybody on this planet that has dated multiple people has one person that you may realize is not great for a relationship, but in football terms is always good to have on your bench. You know, sometimes you need to call in that quarterback that's good for the fourth quarter.
Atlanta.
Erica,
he's right.
do you want to do this?
You're right.
I do not have Al. I do not. There is not a single one. Not one. Not one should be. My bench is cleared.
No helmets, no nothing.
Nothing.
Well, okay. All right. Well, Tom Cruise is the latest celebrity to protest the Golden Globes. Tom returned his 3 globes to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association in protest over the lack of diversity among its members. Yesterday, the Globes announced a bunch of proposed reforms, such as recruiting black members and hiring diversity advisors, but said it would take 18 months to do all of that. So NBC said it will not air the Globes next year or in 2023 until the changes are in place. And this week, Scarlett Johansson and Mark Ruffalo spoke out against the reforms, saying they didn't go far enough. Scarlett also said she faced sexist questions from some members during interviews that bordered on sexual harassment. Now, not only that, Jeff, you also hear some of, members have been accused of accepting bribes and gifts in order for those films to be nominated. So it's not only the sexual misconduct, it's not only the gross lack of diversity, but also the fact that they supposedly are accepting some pretty interesting bribes.
Yeah, well, the numbers show that these award shows are on the decline, right? It's just antiquated. We have an award for everything. These celebrities are going every single week to an award show. Have the Oscars, that's it. People are getting tired of people's political opinions. I believe that's why some of it's going down. The lack of diversity, they haven't caught up yet, and I feel like the actors are getting ahead of it because they know these award shows are going to shut down, so they're trying to do the right thing in the process. I don't think the award show is going to catch up, though. I think they're going to be canceled before they could catch up.
Well, I mean, Eric, I want to get your thoughts. I just think that we're in a day and age where people are realizing 2 things. One, that you have leverage, whether you are an entertainer, whether you are a combined group of workers with a like mindset, you do have leverage. And second of all, any process, even if, remember the Olympics, it was found out with the Olympic Committee that they were taking bribes and things like that. Anytime there's a closed door meeting process about how things are being handled, that lends itself to corruption, Erica. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think transparency is everything. It's not even so much what's happening, it's also how it's happening and how it's being emboldened to happen. And when you aren't audited in a public platform, then yeah, anything goes. I think the idea of actors returning their award really goes more to setting the credibility of this award back. And if this is something that they're going to take 18 months, nobody has 18 months for anything these days. No one's waiting around for 18 months. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, then we've already forgotten about it.
Well said. Well said. Okay, so actor Donald Glover is calling out cancel culture. Donald recently posted on Twitter that he noticed some people were having a discussion about how tired they were of reviewing boring stuff on TV and film. So he tweeted out his thoughts saying, quote, "We're getting boring stuff and not even experimental mistakes because people are afraid of getting canceled." Interesting. You're shaking your head, Jeff.
Amen. I mean, this is 100% true from the top down. I understand people have responsibilities and people have jobs, and I don't just mean above me, but I'm just trying to break things down for you. You're not allowed to be creative anymore because people are too afraid of offending somebody. So if I offend someone on this show, that goes not only just to me getting fired, now the whole network's in trouble, and the head of producer's in trouble. Why did he say that? Why didn't you have a meeting with him before he said that? There's conversations that we have on the show that I want to go deeper, and I'm like, man, I don't want to go there because I want to keep my job, and I'm scared to say things on this show. It's the same with creative people. They're writing things down, and they're like, I can't say this anymore for the fact that I might be canceled. If we're having a conversation about Caitlyn Jenner being the governor of California, I might be 100% on Caitlyn's side, all in. Here's all the attributes that she has to be the perfect governor. If I misgender her and say he, nobody cares about what I said or how in support I am. All they care about is the misgender, and now let's get Jeff fired. That's where we're at in television. That's where we're at in entertainment, and I'm glad Donald Glover said something.
Jeff, I agree with you in terms of that's where we are in entertainment, but I think what we fail to realize as people in their 40s is that there are two kinds of entertainment now. There's entertainment that Sam or Erica will turn on when they get home and kick their shoes off and want to relax for a second, but there's also a whole new class of entertainment, and that is going after people, that is critiquing things, whether it just be art or music, and just tearing it down to the point where you start to see artists that are already probably reclusive by nature anyway, just realizing if I put a song out and it's experimental, I've used a xylophone I've never tried before, if it doesn't work, you're gonna it'll be played forever. And so as a comic, when I go on stage and I talk live for a living, I have to think about every word coming out of my mouth because something I say could affect Erica, could affect Jordan, could affect your two kids. So yes, we are in a place where that is another form of entertainment, is critiquing things, and when that momentum builds, it can cause networks and entertainment things to shut things down. So I get what you're saying.
Okay, so, wow, good conversation. I was lost between the two of you. Okay, so Real Housewives of Atlanta star Porsha Williams is engaged to her former co-star's ex. Let me break this down for you, and then I'm going to have Erica break it down even more.
Yes.
So Porsha announced on Instagram that she is now engaged to Simon Gobadiah after a month of dating. And wow, okay, there it is. Yep, that's the ring, you guys. According to Page 6, the ring that he gave her is between 12 and 14 carats, worth about $1 million. So Simon's ex, Fallon, appeared on the show with Simon as a friend of Porsha's last season. They split last month and reportedly finalized their divorce after 2 years of marriage. Porsha also made it clear that she and Fallon are not friends. So Erica, break it down more for us, please.
I am shook. I have been shook to the core of my being. When I saw this go down, because it went down kind of in increments, like I saw Porsha talking about it on Dish Nation, where she was like, yes, I do have a new love. And then I saw the picture from Mother's Day where she was standing in between her ex-fiance, who's also the father of her child, Dennis, and Simon, who apparently is now her new fiance. And she had her hand with a big ring on it, and she had her hand on Simon. And we're all like, huh, that's interesting. Why would she have her hand on Simon? And then it was announced, after she said she would have more to say on it, that they were actually engaged. Now, here's the thing. Simon, the new fiance, it was actually friends and associates with the ex-fiance. And apparently they're doing this thing called adulting and grown menning, where they are co-parenting, although they say this relationship has only been a month in. Now, everybody's going so hard on Porsha, and I understand because we all take our personal experiences as if we were scorned, if we were in a relationship, if somebody moved on faster than we moved on, and we apply them to people that have nothing to do with us. So a lot of people are giving her backlash saying, you stole that woman's husband, you were all up in them people's pool at her house, which I would have a problem with if somebody came to my house and then she ended up with my husband because I let her in. So that's another thing. But also, Simon's equally as culpable.
Right.
So I think really what's happening is season 13 of Real Housewives of Atlanta was an absolute bore, and now Porsha is holding this whole thing on her back, or Bravo is going to give her very own Black Modern Family, and I am here for it.
Ooh, whoa.
That was a breakdown.
Wow.
Bravo.
I feel like I understand it now.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I know. Erica's really good at that. I got lost in Erica. I fully was like, drinking my tea over here. Okay, so coming up on DBL, a week of your favorite 80s stars continues with actress Candace Bure. And we're asking her the question on everyone's mind, Lori Loughlin. And our DBL staff is working hard at home during the pandemic. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by...
You know how kids don't play outside as much as they used to? Well, now experts say that trend has an unusual side effect. Children's eyesight is getting worse. Let's connect the dots. Nearsightedness is on the rise in kids. Also known as myopia, that's when you can see up close objects clearly, but things that are far away are fuzzy. It can be caused by genetics and the environment. But experts say myopia has increased so rapidly that it can't be blamed on genetics. In the United States alone, it's gone from 25% of the population back in the 70s to 42% today. In Southeastern and Eastern Asia, it's estimated 80 to 90% of high schoolers are nearsighted. So what is causing this increase? It might seem easy to blame all that screen time kids have these days, but experts say that's not the direct reason. It's actually because children are getting less natural light. Researchers say exposure to daylight and focusing on things far away outside can delay the onset of myopia. And the pandemic has made things worse. New research shows the eyesight of children quarantined during the onset of coronavirus deteriorated rapidly. There is something parents can do about it. Experts say it's not practical to take away screens altogether, but you can impose some rules. They recommend a practice called 20-20-20. That's where you take regular breaks every 20 minutes to look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And of course, more time outside could make a real difference. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Candace Bure has been a household name since her day as DJ Tanner on the beloved sitcom Full House. Years later, she reprised her role on the equally successful Fuller House, and earlier she joined us to tell us all about what she's up to today. That's today in our special series, Favorite Stars of the 80s. Candace Bure, welcome to DBL. Now, before we get to your fabulous clothing line, the 5th and final season of Fuller House debuted last year. But if you could keep playing DJ Tanner, and I'm crossing my fingers here, in a spinoff, would you?
Oh, yes. Of course I would. It's like a no-brainer question. I love playing DJ. She's such a huge part of my life, and I love the show. I hope we get to do a 3rd iteration of it.
Your TV dad, Bob Saget, recently came to your defense when you were described as fake. Why did someone say that? First off, I don't even care. And how did he chime in on your behalf?
There's lots of people that think I'm fake because I'm a generally happy and positive person
I feel
and
you.
have a lot of joy. I've known Bob for 35 years. You know, we have a long-standing friendship. So of course it feels great. And I appreciated it very much. But he's like one of the dearest people in my life.
I know how close-knit you and your cast are on Full House. So that being said, have you checked in on Lori Loughlin since her release from prison, and how is she doing?
Yes, I've talked to Lori many times, and she's doing well.
So you're currently shooting your 10th Hallmark Christmas movie. Our viewers here know that I watch every single Hallmark movie. I'm obsessed with Hallmark movies, especially Christmas ones.
Oh, boy.
You also mentioned that with each movie, you've become more and more anxious about filming, even though you've been in the industry for God knows how long.
There's something about the Christmas movies because they're very special and people love them so much. They genuinely mean a lot to them during the Christmas season. And so when you have some of the most anticipated movies, it has been a layer of pressure that gets added every year to make sure the movie's going to be as good as the next one. This last year, it just kind of hit me. It's like, you know, one day you feel like you're going to fall off that pedestal. And I'm like, and so what if I do? It's okay, Candace.
Talk to me about spiciness, all right? I'm about to be 9 years married, and you had a very spicy marriage, and it goes with your faith. And I just have to say,
give us some tips.
I need the secrets, and I want to know, because I think that's a really, really important thing for a marriage, to have a base in that you still are attracted to each other. Talk to me about that.
You know, I think it's important. You got to keep it up. The longer that you're married, it's so easy to take each other for granted, or, you know, like you know each other so well that you forget. So you have to keep it spicy. And I love that. That's what my husband and I do. And that's why we'll be, I think one of the reasons we'll be celebrating 25 years of marriage this year.
Wow.
That's incredible.
25 years of marriage.
I just can't.
I know. And Candace, I am a little bored in the bedroom. I'll be honest. I love my husband. I'm probably bored for him.
Oh,
he's probably over me and me not being spicy and sassy. So
just do something unexpected.
Like what?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like what?
Like what?
How graphic do you want me to be?
Yeah, girl.
There's something you don't do before, or don't. Maybe lay in a way that you don't normally.
This is good.
Lay or position yourself.
That is so good. I love this.
All right.
Woo.
All right, so
like, whoa, you'll surprise him.
Before we let you go, we got to hear all about your newest venture into clothing and retail. Give us all the details.
So the Candace Cameron Bure clothing line is exclusively sold at QVC. We just debuted last month to a sellout, which was like mind-blowing. I was so happy. This little top, I have jeans on too. They're from the line. You know, the clothing line has a lot of elastic waistbands, but they're not your mother's elastic waistbands, okay?
Don't forget, you guys, to check out all of Candace's brand on her website, CandaceCBure.com. Also, check her out on QVC. Candace, thank you so much for joining us and for being transparent.
Thank you so much, lady.
We just appreciate you. We really do. We'll be right back.
The Colonial Pipeline is one of the country's main sources of fuel. Its closure could affect your summer travel. Let's connect the dots. The Colonial Pipeline runs from Texas to New Jersey. It carries more than 2.5 million barrels of fuel every day. That's everything from gasoline to heating oil to jet fuel. It's responsible for almost half of the entire East Coast fuel supply. So what's this mean for you? Experts say rising gas prices are a real concern. Anytime there's a supply issue, prices are likely to surge. But there could also be major impacts to air travel. The Colonial Pipeline provides jet fuel to Charlotte Douglas International. More Americans are vaccinated and traveling, increasing that demand. Experts say we could really start feeling these effects if the pipeline remains shut down for 5 days. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Welcome back to DBL. If you've spent the past year doing any home improvement projects that could help lower your insurance rates, we're chatting about it in today's Bang for Your Buck, presented by The Hartford. Home improvement projects that reduce the chance of property damage or burglary will save you money. We're talking about things like a new roof or security system. Kitchen upgrades can make a difference too. Plumbing and electrical renovations can reduce the risk of flooding and fire, which can lower your premiums. Sometimes home insurance can also help pay for repairs or cover damage resulting from poor contract work. And certain upgrades will increase the value of your home, like a swimming pool. We've made it easy when it comes to quality and affordable insurance. The Buck's got your back. The Hartford will be happy to provide you solutions. Call the Hartford at 1-800-684-6085 or visit thehartford.com to learn more, including a chimney sweep.
What year is this?
Okay.
I don't even, where do you even hire one of those? Down at the town square?
Wait a second. You don't sweep your chimney?
No, I don't even know.
Albert, I'm nervous for you.
All right.
If you don't sweep your chimney, you have like such a higher likelihood of having a house fire. And if you want to lower your home insurance, you need to have regular chimney sweeps.
That sounds like code for like therapists.
It really does.
Are you guys
like
serious?
you need to sweep her chimney more than once a month?
Wait, is Erica on here? Is Erica on here?
No.
Okay,
it's just
Erica
you
would back me up.
Yelling about chimney sweeps to Erica, who's not here.
If you guys, do you both use your chimney?
I don't have a chimney. I have a electrical fireplace.
Oh, do you have a chimney?
Teach us how to clean our old black kettle next when no one uses these things.
Sam.
Wow, okay.
Don't you guys wax your Porsche?
It's not expensive to clean a chimney.
I know.
But you need to. It could save you from a house fire. Make sure your chimneys are clean.
Are chimneys sponsoring this segment?
We'll be right back.
That was a hard take.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The United States is creeping toward another sad milestone in the coronavirus pandemic, 600,000 dead. But as in most tragedies, there are stories of hope and inspiration. And today we want you to meet a young woman whose gift of digital art is touching lives all over the nation. Everyone, please meet Hannah Ernst. Hello, Hannah, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. You are the 16-year-old artist behind the Faces of COVID communities on Instagram and Facebook. Hannah, I want to start by passing along our condolences because we understand the inspiration behind the art is the passing of your own grandfather last August due to COVID-19. What can you tell DBL Nation about him, and why is his passing, why did it motivate you to do this?
So my grandpa was just amazing. He was everything that you would wish a grandpa to be. I mean, no matter what I was doing, he was my #1 supporter, and losing him the way I did just really enforced the fact that I needed to do something to make sure that everyone else who was going through the same thing I was got some sort of healing.
I love that. Now, at this point, Hannah, you've created more than 1,400 memorials for families. Amazing. What are the families telling you about what these mean to them as they grieve? What are the messages that you're receiving back?
I mean, it's amazing. Families are so grateful because I think, unfortunately, the lives lost to this pandemic are erased in a sense just because they're looked at as statistics. And so when their person is individualized from the ever-rising death toll, I think it really just gives them a sense of validation that their loved one isn't forgotten and they're remembered.
The portraits you've made, that no doubt they're shared on social media, but families can now also memorialize their loved ones on their clothing, stickers, even on face masks. Talk to me about that. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Well, thank you. I wish I could take credit for it. Actually, a daughter of someone I was able to memorialize, she came to me and she's like, look, I'm a college student and I really would love to be able to get a sticker of my dad. But, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it myself because this is your artwork. Is there any way I can get it from you? So I was introduced to Redbubble, which is a third-party website that basically allows me to upload the forward. Yeah, and it's incredible because all of these people are able to get masks. They're able to remember them with pillows. It's amazing.
That's so wonderful. I'm an art history major, so mixing art with grieving and psychology is just so up my alley. Hannah, we're so sure that your grandfather is proud of you and the help you're giving families through the grieving process. We thank you for sharing your time with DBL. Now listen, everybody, you can find Faces of COVID on Instagram and Facebook. The Faces of COVID Memorial Store is on Redbubble, like we said, redbubble.com. I think you're wonderful, and I think you're more mature than any 16-year-old I've ever met. Congratulations. Continue doing what you're doing and giving hope and giving something tangible to a lot of people where it's just up in the air. So thank you, Hannah. We really appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Shows like Will and Grace and American Horror Story. We're talking live with actor Leslie Jordan. And in an all-new True Crime Chronicles, could this man be connected to the 2017 deaths of 2 8th graders in Indiana? That's tomorrow, only on DBL.
You do not want to miss a single moment. Welcome back to DBL. Erica, I wanted you in the last segment because I know that you also love a good fire. Do you clean your fireplace? It's a big deal, and they're acting like I'm crazy.
No, it's a very big deal, Sam. I'm glad that you addressed this issue. I do not have a chimney because we have an electrical fireplace, but I wish I did because I love the nostalgia and the smell of the
Jeff, let me tell you
wood.
what just happened.
No, this is her argument. She's talking about electrical.
She just called her star witness up. And this is going to close Sam's case, and Sam's star witness says, I don't know where I am.
Sam has a gas fireplace.
Yeah, there's nothing. She has no argument, Jeff.
Yes, huh? What are you talking about?
Well, I can't argue with that.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank
same
you,
time,
Erica.
same place. Bye, guys.
About today on Daily Blast Live.
It sounds like a movie. Hackers shut down a critical pipeline. Now gas stations are running dry. How does this even happen? The plot thickens in the wild tiger on the loose story in Houston. A man who could be the owner has been arrested, but where's the tiger? Are Ben and J.Lo back on? 17 years after their breakup, even Ben's bud, Matt, is weighing in.
I love them both. I hope it's true. That would be awesome.
And our week-long series with your favorite 80s stars continues with Candace Bure. We're asking her the question on everyone's mind.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin since her release from prison, and how is she doing?
Real, honest, entertaining, live.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2,
Yes, welcome to DBL. It is Tuesday, May 11th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. All right, so we do have a little bit of a movie theme going on today. Our first story sounds like it's straight out of a Tom Clancy movie, so brace yourself. But instead of Patriot games, this is gas games, okay? Gas stations up and down the East Coast have closed their pumps. There are long lines of cars. North Carolina has even declared a state of emergency. It's all because computer hackers shut down a critical pipeline that runs all the way from Texas to New Jersey, which transports about 45% of the fuel used on the East Coast. The president has promised swift action, saying the Department of Energy is working to get the pipeline back up by the end of the week. So you may be wondering, how did this happen? Well, even this sounds like a separate move. Responsible for launching a ransomware attack, holding the pipeline hostage until the company pays them a hefty ransom. But some are saying, should the U.S. do more? Should they be even involved in this? Here's what Newt Gingrich, did I say that right?
Yes.
Said on Fox News.
Second
Look
time
at
you got
Jeff's
it.
face.
We ought to pass a law immediately that makes it this kind of hacking subject to a death penalty. And the law should include a provision that the president, through a judicial process, should be able to order the killing of anybody overseas who's doing this.
Wow. I did not expect that. That was the first time I heard.
I think it's appropriate if this is Game of Thrones. Like, what are you did we not do this during when Wells Fargo got hacked, or Chase, or Target? Like, what kind of law? That's not what we need from our leaders, even our former leaders. We need solutions, not bomb them. What are you, 7? Like, let's figure out why this happened. And a lot of this is when politicians go out and say we need to help, we need to beef up our infrastructure. They're talking about stuff like this, but people hear infrastructure and they think bridges, and their eyes roll back in their head. They think it's boring until you're in a 4-hour-long gas line.
Yeah, listen, nuking them is not the answer.
Yes.
That's definitely not the answer.
Almost never the answer.
But neither is paying them. You know, we should never negotiate with terrorists. This is kind of a terrorist situation that we're dealing with. We need to take it serious. I'm a little even nervous about throwing the word Russia around there. It's not Russia, it's a Russia terrorist group. Even that kind of scares me, because then people immediately go, well, let's just start bombing people. It's like, listen, they're a superpower, we're a superpower. It's not a good idea to be throwing down nuke weapons.
We have terrorist groups over here. What if we just started bombing the United States because
that's not a great idea.
Some rogue group did something?
Well, not only that, this company is saying, well, they're not saying much at all. But this isn't the first time that this has happened to a big company that could give out whatever hefty paycheck that this dark side is asking for. And when that happens, because I went down the rabbit hole.
The pipeline?
The dark side.
They give you a key. So this dark side gives them, don't look at me like, let me finish. The dark side gives them a key to unscramble the data. How cool is that? Is that not, I mean, it's not a real key, but it's the key to unscramble the data. I mean, it's not cool, but it's just like, I can't even wrap my head around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's blown away. I do. Like, we're going to scramble all your data, and then if you pay me, I'm going to give you a key to unscramble the data. That, to me, sounds like a movie plot that we've never even seen play out in a movie.
Yeah, I do find it interesting, Sam. I don't know if I find it cool, though, because right now we're the vulnerable ones. We're the ones that hopefully will be able to restore a fossil fuel pipeline. When we have these conversations about fossil fuel, we rarely talk about how much we are actually in need of fossil fuel. Yes, we need sustainable energy sources. Yes, we need green energy. But now we'll be having this conversation about how these things are going to be expedited, because the idea that a foreign adversary can come over and shut down our main source of energy, basically, and no one is like freaking out about this.
Oh, people are
I find
freaking
it
out.
Interesting.
People are freaking out.
Well,
believe
I'm
me.
just saying.
And I corrected myself when I said the word
this is a conversation
cool.
we should have.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It just blows my mind. Blows it. Okay, this next story is straight out of the Revenge of the Nerds. I hate you both. Stop. The movie, only this time it features some well-known nerd billionaires. We're getting some new details about a young Bill Gates from his biographer. He claims Bill was notorious for throwing naked pool parties with strippers he hired, for being a womanizer, even after he met his future wife, Melinda Gates. Fellow billionaire Jeff Bezos is also making headlines for the $500 million he just splashed down for a new luxury mega yacht. The 412-foot boat that's being built as we speak is so big it'll need a support yacht with its own helipad, according to Bloomberg. Meantime, Elon Musk is continuing to bask in the glow of his recent SNL performance, proving that he's not just a stellar CEO for companies like Tesla and SpaceX, but can also rule the airwaves. If you put these three together, and then also add in Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, because why not? Well, they have a combined wealth of $574 billion. That's equal to the total value of the goods and services made in Sweden last year. So how do you feel that these four people have so much power, so much influence? I don't think anybody should be able to have that much power and influence, in my opinion. Al?
I mean, this is what we talk about when we talk about deregulation. And like you look at the coal, the railroads. There was all these, oil. The people that initially got on these became the Rockefellers. They became these people with wealth that we still see today. And I just don't know if that has worked out well for us, Erica, Jeff, and Sam, as a people. When there's always 3 or 4, there are almost always men that have all the money, and the rest of us is like hoping there's some kind of trickle down. But it just doesn't seem like it works. It just seems like they figure out ways to hoard wealth, avoid taxes, and keep that money going. And no one ever gets any better. And these people who have a support yacht, first of all, first rapper to use that, they're my favorite. It doesn't seem like it works for the people.
Well, what do you think, though, really quickly, because before we get into the weeds, and maybe we shouldn't, considering this is daytime TV, but what do you think about Bill Gates being like this womanizer and throwing naked parties with strippers? I mean, I think a lot of people are shocked by that.
I think when you have money like that, you
allegedly.
When you have money like that, you throw a party that you think everybody wants, right? You're going to have girls there, you're going to have this there, you're going to have that there, and everyone's like, oh, Bill's so cool. It's not necessarily he's like with all those women, you know what I mean? He's paying people to be there so he looks popular.
I think you're overcompensating. I think someone like that, and I've seen it in the club. When I used to work as a waitress in the club, we would get a lot of Silicon Valley billionaires and millionaires coming in, and you could tell, were flaunting, were overcompensating. They would always have like a bevy of women around them, and I thought that was weird. And it was, to me, it was a turnoff. Like, love your brain, don't love your flex. Okay. All right. Finally, Erica, we've got an update to the Texas Tiger King-like story we talked about yesterday, Tiger on the Loose. If you recall, Erica, there was a tiger prowling a Houston neighborhood over the weekend. It had gotten out, and there was even a confrontation with a man holding a gun as the tiger was about to pounce. Eventually, another man came and took the tiger back inside. Now that man has been arrested after a short police chase. Turns out he's currently out on bond after being charged in an unrelated murder. But get this, he's saying through his lawyer that the cat is not his. And meantime, that tiger is still missing. And if you're wondering, do tigers make good pets? Here's what the head of the Humane Society said about it on the Today Show.
It is incredibly inhumane to have tigers in your house.
Erica?
Well, I would have rather talked about Bill Gates' naked pool parties, but this is
go, Erica. Comment on both.
I just want to know, why is anybody surprised the fact that Bill Gates had naked pool parties at his house?
Thank you, Erica.
That is not a shocking revelation. I would have completely, when you brought up the bottle service thing, I was like, girl, yes, that's exactly what I was going to say to you. The flex, the flex, the flex. Because after a while, what else are you spending your money on? Also, I'm not going to shame exotic dancers and people who decide to take their clothes off for a living. There is a whole billion-dollar sex industry, and a lot of people take part in it. So to act like this is something that's taboo in our society, it just simply is not at all.
I'm just going to, Eric, I'm going to tie both these stories together. I think the reason you have a tiger is to show off. I think the reason you have a yacht that has a baby yacht with it is to show off, and you're showing off for the opposite sex or same sex, whatever you are interested in. Bill Gates is no different. You're talking about bottle service in an entourage. You could have been describing any rapper, any rock star, any athlete. Everybody has these things because when you have money, you want to let people know. Even Bill Gates.
It's true.
With them glasses.
Jeffrey?
I don't know if it's showing off. I think sometimes you just need another form of entertainment.
No, it's showing off, Erica. For sure, it's showing
honestly,
Yeah, 'cause
you need
all those
entertainment.
people
After
there
a while, the
are
regular
his
stuff
friends.
don't cut it.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. Everybody wants to party like that sometimes. I'm sorry, even Bill Gates.
It does sound like a good time.
It's sad when everybody goes home and you're $1 million less, and you're like, wow, I'm by myself.
Yeah, but you have
know
$1
what I mean?
million to spend.
It doesn't make you happy necessarily.
Wow, yes,
Well, let's try it and see.
Cute. Okay, coming up on DBL, we're talking to your favorite stars from the 80s, and today it's Full House actress Candace Bure.
DJ.
Yep, and we're asking her about her former castmate Lori Loughlin. Plus, are Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez back together? The new clues that could spell a rekindled romance between the stars. And our medical expert Dr. Payal Kohli is tackling the latest COVID-19 headlines. Don't go away.
Closed captioning provided by
You know how kids don't play outside as much as they used to? Well, now experts say that trend has an unusual side effect. Children's eyesight is getting worse. Let's connect the dots. Nearsightedness is on the rise in kids. Also known as myopia, that's when you can see up close objects clearly, but things that are far away are fuzzy. It can be caused by genetics and the environment. But experts say myopia has increased so rapidly that it can't be blamed on genetics. In the United States alone, it's gone from 25% of the population back in the 70s to 42% today. In Southeastern and Eastern Asia, it's estimated 80 to 90% of high schoolers are nearsighted. So what is causing this increase? It might seem easy to blame all that screen time kids have these days, but experts say that's not the direct reason. It's actually because children are getting less natural light. Researchers say exposure to daylight and focusing on things far away outside can delay the onset of myopia. And the pandemic has made things worse. New research shows the eyesight of children quarantined during the onset of coronavirus deteriorated rapidly. There is something parents can do about it. Experts say it's not practical to take away screens altogether, but you can impose some rules. They recommend a practice called 20-20-20. That's where you take regular breaks every 20 minutes to look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And of course, more time outside could make a real difference. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Each new positive development in the pandemic brings us closer towards the end. Earlier, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, spoke to Al and Lindsay about some of today's latest COVID-19 news. Take a look.
So the FDA just authorized the Pfizer vaccine for people ages 12 through 15 for emergency use. That makes it the first shot for anyone under 16. So Dr. Kohli, what else can you tell us about this development? Is this a huge step towards a normal life?
You guys, this is a huge step towards normalcy. So what we're seeing is that as we got our older adults vaccinated, the virus found a new host. And what we're seeing now is that almost 1 in 4 cases are in children. So the virus has shifted to our children. So the kids have essentially become a reservoir for the virus. So without vaccinating the kids, there is no way we could have kicked this virus's butt. So I'm really excited about this development because I think it's symbolic of the fact that we're winning this fight. And now with getting getting our kids vaccinated will get them back to summer camps, back to school, back to get-togethers, back to all the things that make our life so fulfilling. So, Al, I have to ask you, you have some adolescent kids. I know some parents are hesitant. Are you going to get your kids vaccinated if this gets authorized by Thursday?
You know what, Doc, just to show you how hesitant I am, I just want to pull this text up from last night at 7:49 p.m. I texted FDA authorizes Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for adolescents, and my ex just texted back, woohoo. So yes, we are definitely getting these kids vaccinated. I want to get them back to life. I want them to enjoy their young lives. We only get to be young 12, 13 once, so I don't want them in the house worried about some disease. And with that,
good choice, Al.
Yes, I'm gonna make sure they have fun. You know, they've dealt with this enough. It's time to move on. Speaking of moving on, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson just relaxed social distancing restrictions, including overnight stays for singles, which is way to just take all the steam out of that. He's basically saying casual sex. What does this mean for Great Britain? Do you think that's a good thing to okay overnight stays?
You know, I have to tell you, I've never been a fan of endorsing casual sex, but I will say that this is a positive development because it's really a sign that life is coming back to normal because of those vaccines. And we're seeing that as the uptake of vaccination increases in the UK, they've been struggling for so long with that variant. Their cases are coming down, their death numbers are in single digits. And so this is, to me, really a sign that we're headed in a positive direction. Now, I do want to warn all the Brits, if you are going to have casual sex, one very important question to ask, in addition to asking what you like to do in your free time, is whether or not your partner has been fully vaccinated.
Yes, and what's your last name is also a good one.
And Dr. Coley, we're so looking forward to the idea that we maybe be able to get together this summer with everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Please.
Yes, let's do this.
So thank you so much, Dr. Coley. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Doc.
The Colonial Pipeline is one of the country's main sources of fuel. Its closure could affect your summer travel. Let's connect the dots. The Colonial Pipeline runs from Texas to New Jersey. It carries more than 2.5 million barrels of fuel every day. That's everything from gasoline to heating oil to jet fuel. It's responsible for almost half of the entire East Coast fuel supply. So what's this mean for you? Experts say rising gas prices are a real concern. Anytime there's a supply issue, prices are likely to surge. But there could also be major impacts to air travel. The Colonial Pipeline provides jet fuel to Charlotte Douglas International. More Americans are vaccinated and traveling, increasing that demand. Experts say we could really start feeling these effects if the pipeline remains shut down for 5 days. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Welcome back to DBL. We all know people, and maybe you're one of them, that are totally obsessed with their smartphones. Well, now there's a new landmark study that's out that says smartphone users have become, quote, human snails carrying our homes in our pocket, and that we now have a tendency to ignore friends and family in favor of our phones. So the question is, do you know anyone like this? And what does this mean for us and our relationships if we can just disappear into our smartphones and ignore the real world around us? I wouldn't say this is anything new. Right? I mean, I'm glad that we have yet another study, and I know your feelings on studies, but this isn't anything new. I hate my phone. I hate it. I have a hate-love relationship with it.
No, you just said you loved it.
I know. But it gives me anxiety. I tend to get addicted to things, so I have to put it away when I get home.
And that's what I do. This is something that I take like seriously, and I actively I'm like, what am I doing with my phone? I kind of, like I said, I'm off social media right now. I'm taking a break from it. When I get home, I just want to play with my kids.
Same.
I'm with my family. Someone's going to text me. I want to be with my family. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. But you have to actively work at it.
I feel like Erica's always had like really kind of solid rules when it comes to your phone, like especially when you get home. Is that true, or am I just putting that on you?
No, I appreciate that. That's something I said during like the first week of season 1 has stuck with you for like 4 years. That means so much to me. It really does. It really does, because what I was saying was that in order to protect my space and my energy, it's really important that I do not allow social media, like people who I would never invite into my home, to come into my home in this way. So I have to be the guardian of that ship. But I have to tell you, the busier and more spread out you are, it's so much harder to do that. So I'm definitely guilty of it, because I'm working. Like, we use our phone to work, and so does my husband. So that's been very difficult. But at the same time, there is a way to do it and not feel like completely stressed out by it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Sam, because you run a business at home, so you need to be on your phone, but like you have a love-hate relationship, you have 2 kids you're crazy about. Like, how do you balance that? Because I'm sure a lot of our viewers have at least one side hustle, if not 2.
Right. I had to compartmentalize. And so in the beginning, I had the mentality of like out of sight, out of mind. So every email I would want to tackle, every text message I would want to tackle, just so it wouldn't build up. And then I realized I was always half present with my children. And it became very depressing, and I knew that there was this void here that I was mishandling. So now I dedicate maybe a half an hour at the end of the day to go through emails, maybe an hour in the morning, and that has completely saved me, not only as a co-business owner, but as a parent. So
that's great.
Yeah,
that's smart.
It's a daily battle, though, let me tell you. Okay, so coming up on DBL, we are chatting with Fuller House star Candace Bure and asking her if she's spoken to Lori Loughlin since her release from prison. You do not want to miss that. Still ahead on DBL.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify exists to clear up misinformation and answer your questions, big and small, about the coronavirus pandemic. One viewer named Carol asked us, quote, what metrics will determine when the pandemic is over? Is there a data target of sorts? So let's verify. What does it mean for a pandemic to end?
Pandemics don't end in a bang, but in a whimper.
That's our first source, Dr. Stephen Kissler with the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. And one way that the pandemic could end is simply that there's no more COVID. SARS-CoV-2 just stops spreading. But our experts say that this one is pretty unlikely.
So instead, what I think we'll be looking for is something where COVID poses a similar risk on the population level as other things that we're familiar with. Flu is another really good example here.
Dr. Linda Nabha, an infectious diseases expert from the University of Pittsburgh, agrees.
Infection rate, hospitalizations, and deaths are sort of the 3 major endpoints we look at, in addition to what we've talked about before is herd immunity.
Herd immunity is when enough of the population has been vaccinated to protect those who haven't been. And really, our experts say that the end of the pandemic will depend on where in the world you live. Here's an example. Let's take these 2 infectious diseases, HIV and tuberculosis. The WHO says that 1.5 million people still die from TB every year. And in 2019, almost 700,000 people died of HIV-related causes. Dr. Kissler believes that they're both still pandemics, but they're mostly affecting low to middle income countries.
I think that may be what we transition into, where under some definitions, SARS-CoV-2 will continue to be a pandemic.
So we can verify that we'll watch for infections, hospitalizations, and deaths to go down in order to reach some sort of end. But when that end is going to depend on where you live. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. Okay, so Debbie on Facebook says ransomware is no joke and it's not new. Jan on Facebook says, I always told my son to be nice to the quote unquote nerds he was in school with because one day you just may be working for them. Mm-hmm.
And also, I think everybody's a nerd about something.
Yeah, I do too.
Right? Don't you? Some people, you look at people that are into sports, but they're only into like GM, salary caps and things like that.
What?
That's nerd. Like salary caps, like figuring out which players you can sign because of their, and like that's math. But it just is associated with baseball, so you're allowed to kind of say, oh, I'm into sports, but you're just into math. It's cool.
Is that something that you're into? That's pretty cool.
I'm more into like analytics in terms of like how many 3-pointers you should shoot as opposed to taking 2-pointers and just.
I like it.
That's like it's interesting.
Yeah, very cool. If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube, chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be a part of our DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up. We are catching up with Full House star and Hallmark movie queen Candace Bure. Plus, are Ben and Jen together again? The new clues that could mean a renewed romance between Ben Affleck and J.Lo. And a big thank you to our coworkers watching, Leo, watching from home right now. We miss you guys. Keep up the great work. DBL is new every day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. So big news in Hollywood. Could Bennifer be back on? Jennifer Lopez and her ex Ben Affleck were recently spotted hanging out in Montana this past weekend. According to TMZ, they were staying at the same resort in Big Sky near Yellowstone National Park and were seen driving around together. As you remember, the two were nicknamed Bennifer back in the early 2000s when they dated. They got engaged, but then broke it off in 2004. Still, Ben's BFF, Matt Damon, told the Today Show he's hopeful that the two have rekindled their romance. Watch.
It's a fascinating story.
All right, should we let him off the hook?
I hope it's true. I love them both. I hope it's true. That would be awesome.
Meantime, J.Lo's ex, Alex Rodriguez, was reportedly shocked and caught off guard about the reunion as he believed the two would one day get back together. J.Lo and Ben haven't commented about their relationship. I heard you have a theory.
Ooh, I do.
Talk to me. I haven't heard this.
So Alex Rodriguez was allegedly with Madison LaCroix, okay, from Southern Charm. So my theory is everyone has an ex that your partner is always jealous of, right? They always bring him up. What's with you and this person? What's with you and that person?
Why are they texting you happy birthday?
Yeah, exactly. So that person for their relationship was Ben Affleck. So she's like, you want to mess around with this reality star? No problem. I'm just going to spend a weekend with Ben Affleck in Montana. How's that make you feel, A-Rod?
Yep. And like,
Erica, what do you think?
It's an interesting theory.
I appreciate that.
It is very interesting. Yeah, I do remember the end of this relationship, though, and it seemed like a lot was left unresolved. In fact, I think Jiggly actually, was that the name of the movie?
Jiggly, I
That's
think.
the name of Lindsay's dog is Jiggly. Jiggly was the...
That's not the name of her dog.
Jiggly was the spoof X-rated movie.
That is the name of her dog. All right, let's not get off on that.
No, it's not.
All right, we'll solve this at the end of the show.
She named it after Jay-Z. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, it felt like that kind of forced the end of that relationship.
I once saw J.Lo and Ben Affleck driving together in a convertible gold, I guess it was like a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. It was one of those like bigger, really fancy cars. And let me tell you, I almost crashed my car as I was like spying on them.
More stalking stories from Sam. No,
you saw Ben
I knew
Affleck
that was coming from Al.
If you saw Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez driving in a convertible gold Rolls Royce way back when, you wouldn't have rubbernecked?
Not at all. That's not.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just going to say this about my theory, and I'm going to try and keep this super daytime. But I think that everybody on this planet that has dated multiple people has one person that you may realize is not great for a relationship, but in football terms is always good to have on your bench. You know, sometimes you need to call in that quarterback that's good for the fourth quarter.
Atlanta.
Erica,
he's right.
do you want to do this?
You're right.
I do not have, no, Al. I do not, there is not a single one. Not one. Not one should be, my bench is cleared.
No helmets, no nothing.
Nothing.
Well, okay. All right. Well, Tom Cruise is the latest celebrity to protest the Golden Globes. Tom returned his 3 globes to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association in protest over the lack of diversity among its members. Yesterday, the Globes announced a bunch of proposed reforms, such as recruiting black members and hiring diversity advisors, but said it would take 18 months to do all of that. So NBC said it will not air the Globes next year or in 2023 until the changes are in place. And this week, Scarlett Johansson and Mark Ruffalo spoke out against the reforms, saying they didn't go far enough. Scarlett also said she faced sexist questions from some members during interviews that bordered on sexual harassment. Now, not only that, Jeff, you also hear some of, members have been accused of accepting bribes and gifts in order for those films to be nominated. So it's not only the sexual misconduct, it's not only the gross lack of diversity, but also the fact that they supposedly are accepting some pretty interesting bribes.
Yeah, well, the numbers show that these award shows are on the decline, right? It's just antiquated. We have an award for everything. These celebrities are going every single week to an award show. Have the Oscars, that's it. People are getting tired of people's political opinions. I believe that's why some of it's going down. The lack of diversity, they haven't caught up yet, and I feel like the actors are getting ahead of it because they know these award shows are going to shut down, so they're trying to do the right thing in the process. I don't think the award show is going to catch up, though. I think they're going to be canceled before they could catch up.
Well, I mean, Eric, I want to get your thoughts. I just think that we're in a day and age where people are realizing 2 things. One, that you have leverage, whether you are an entertainer, whether you are a combined group of workers with a like mindset, you do have leverage. And second of all, any process, even if, remember the Olympics, it was found out with the Olympic Committee that they were taking bribes and things like that. Anytime there's a closed door meeting process about how things are being handled, that lends itself to corruption, Erica. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think transparency is everything. It's not even so much what's happening, it's also how it's happening and how it's being emboldened to happen. And when you aren't audited in a public platform, then yeah, anything goes. I think the idea of actors returning their award really goes more to setting the credibility of this award back. And if this is something that they're going to take 18 months, Nobody has 18 months for anything these days. No one's waiting around for 18 months. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, then we've already forgotten about it.
Well said. Well said. Okay, so actor Donald Glover is calling out cancel culture. Donald recently posted on Twitter that he noticed some people were having a discussion about how tired they were of reviewing boring stuff on TV and film. So he tweeted out his thoughts saying, quote, "We're getting boring stuff and not even experimental mistakes because people are afraid of getting canceled." Interesting. You're shaking your head, Jeff.
Amen. I mean, this is 100% true from the top down. I understand people have responsibilities and people have jobs, and I don't just mean above me, but I'm just trying to break things down for you. You're not allowed to be creative anymore because people are too afraid of offending somebody. So if I offend someone on this show, that goes not only just to me getting fired, now the whole network's in trouble, and the head of producer's in trouble. Why did he say that? Why didn't you have a meeting with him before he said that? There's conversations that we have on the show that I want to go deeper, and I'm like, man, I don't want to go there because I want to keep my job, and I'm scared to say things on this show. It's the same with creative people. They're writing things down. They're like, I can't say this anymore for the fact that I might be canceled. If we're having a conversation about Caitlyn Jenner being the governor of California, I might be 100% on Caitlyn's side, all in. Here's all the attributes that she has to be the perfect governor. If I misgender her and say he, nobody cares about what I said or how in support I am. All they care about is the misgender, and now let's get Jeff fired. That's where we're at in television. That's where we're at in entertainment, and I'm glad Donald Glover said something.
Jeff, I agree with you in terms of that's where we are in entertainment, but I think what we fail to realize as people in their 40s is that there are two kinds of entertainment now. There's entertainment that Sam or Erica will turn on when they get home and kick their shoes off and want to relax for a second, but there's also a whole new class of entertainment, and that is going after people, that is critiquing things, whether it just be art or music, and just tearing it down to the point where you start to see artists that are already probably reclusive by nature anyway, just realizing if I put a song out and it's experimental, I've used a xylophone I've never tried before, if it doesn't work, you're gonna it'll be played forever. And so as a comic, when I go on stage and I talk live for a living, I have to think about every word coming out of my mouth because something I say could affect Erica, could affect Jordan, could affect your two kids. So yes, we are in a place where that is another form of entertainment, is critiquing things, and when that momentum builds, it can cause networks and entertainment things to shut things down. So I get what you're saying.
Okay, so, wow, good conversation. I was lost between the two of you. Okay, so Real Housewives of Atlanta star Porsha Williams is engaged to her former co-star's ex. Let me break this down for you, and then I'm going to have Erica break it down even more.
Yes.
So Porsha announced on Instagram that she is now engaged to Simon Gobadiah after a month of dating. And wow, okay, there it is. Yep, that's the ring, you guys. According to Page 6, the ring that he gave her is between 12 and 14 carats, worth about $1 million. So Simon's ex, Fallon, appeared on the show with Simon as a friend of Porsha's last season. They split last month and reportedly finalized their divorce after 2 years of marriage. Porsha also made it clear that she and Fallon are not friends. So Erica, break it down more for us, please.
I am shook. I have been shook to the core of my being. When I saw this go down, because it went down kind of in increments, like I saw Porsha talking about it on Dish Nation, where she was like, yes, I do have a new love. And then I saw the picture from Mother's Day where she was standing in between her ex-fiance, who's also the father of her child, Dennis, and Simon, who apparently is now her new fiance. And she had her hand with a big ring on it, and she had her hand on Simon. And we're all like, huh, that's interesting. Why would she have her hand on Simon? And then it was announced, after she said she would have more to say on it, that they were actually engaged. Now, here's the thing. Simon, the new fiance, it was actually friends and associates with the ex-fiance. And apparently they're doing this thing called adulting and grown menning, where they are co-parenting, although they say this relationship has only been a month in. Now, everybody's going so hard on Porsha, and I understand because we all take our personal experiences as if we were scorned, if we were in a relationship, if somebody moved on faster than we moved on, and we apply them to people that have nothing to do with us. So a lot of people are giving her backlash saying, you stole that woman's husband, you were all up in them people's pool at her house, which I would have a problem with if somebody came to my house and then she ended up with my husband because I let her in. So that's another thing. But also, Simon's equally as culpable.
Right.
So I think really what's happening is season 13 of Real Housewives of Atlanta was an absolute bore, and now Porsha is holding this whole thing on her back, or Bravo is going to give her her very own Black Modern Family, and I am here for it.
Ooh, whoa.
That was a breakdown.
Wow.
Bravo.
I feel like I understand it now.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I know. Erica's really good at that. I got lost in Erica. I fully was like, drinking my tea over here. Okay, so coming up on DBL, a week of your favorite 80s stars continues with actress Candace Bure. And we're asking her the question on everyone's mind, Lori Loughlin. And our DBL staff is working hard at home during the pandemic. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by...
You know how kids don't play outside as much as they used to? Well, now experts say that trend has an unusual side effect. Children's eyesight is getting worse. Let's connect the dots. Nearsightedness is on the rise in kids. Also known as myopia, that's when you can see up close objects clearly, but things that are far away are fuzzy. It can be caused by genetics and the environment. But experts say myopia has increased so rapidly that it can't be blamed on genetics. In the United States alone, it's gone from 25% of the population back in the 70s to 42% today. In Southeastern and Eastern Asia, it's estimated 80 to 90% of high schoolers are nearsighted. So what is causing this increase? It might seem easy to blame all that screen time kids have these days, but experts say that's not the direct reason. It's actually because children are getting less natural light. Researchers say exposure to daylight and focusing on things far away outside can delay the onset of myopia. And the pandemic has made things worse. New research shows the eyesight of children quarantined during the onset of coronavirus deteriorated rapidly. There is something parents can do about it. Experts say it's not practical to take away screens altogether, but you can impose some rules. They recommend a practice called 20-20-20. That's where you take regular breaks every 20 minutes to look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And of course, more time outside could make a real difference. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Candace Bure has been a household name since her day as DJ Tanner on the beloved sitcom Full House. Years later, she reprised her role on the equally successful Fuller House. And earlier, she joined us to tell us all about what she's up to today. That's today in our special series, Favorite Stars of the 80s. Candace Bure, welcome to DBL. Now, before we get to your fabulous clothing line, the 5th and final season of Fuller House debuted last year. But if you could keep playing DJ Tanner, and I'm crossing my fingers here, in a spinoff, would you?
Oh, yes. Of course I would. It's like a no-brainer question. I love playing DJ. She's such a huge part of my life, and I love the show. I hope we get to do a 3rd iteration of it.
Your TV dad, Bob Saget, recently came to your defense when you were described as fake. Why did someone say that? First off, I don't even care. And how did he chime in on your behalf?
There's lots of people that think I'm fake because I'm a generally happy and positive person
I feel you.
have a lot of joy. I've known Bob for 35 years. You know, we have a long-standing friendship. So, of course, it feels great. And I appreciated it very much. But he's like one of the dearest people in my life.
I know how close-knit you and your cast are on Full House. So that being said, have you checked in on Lori Loughlin since her release from prison, and how is she doing?
Yes, I've talked to Lori many times, and she's doing well.
So you're currently shooting your 10th Hallmark Christmas movie. Our reviewers here know that I watch every single Hallmark movie. I'm obsessed with Hallmark movies, especially Christmas ones. Oh, boy. You also mentioned that with each movie, you've become more and more anxious about filming, even though you've been in the industry for God knows how long.
There's something about the Christmas movies because they're very special and people love them so much. They genuinely mean a lot to them during the Christmas season. And so when you have some of the most anticipated movies, it has been a layer of pressure that gets added every year to make sure the movie's going to be as good as the next one. This last year, it just kind of hit me. It's like, you know, one day you feel like you're going to fall off that pedestal, and I'm like, and so what if I do? It's okay, Candace.
Talk to me about spiciness, all right? I'm about to be 9 years married, and you had a very spicy marriage, and it goes with your faith, and I just have to say...
Give us some tips.
I need the secrets, and I want to know, because I think that's a really, really important thing for a marriage, to have a base in that you still are attracted to each other. Talk to me about that.
You know, I think it's important. You got to keep it up. The longer that you're married, it's so easy to take each other for granted, or, you know, like you know each other so well that you forget. So you have to keep it spicy. And I love that. That's what my husband and I do. And that's why we'll be, I think one of the reasons we'll be celebrating 25 years of marriage this year.
Wow. That's incredible.
25 years of marriage.
I just can't.
I know. And Candace, I am a little bored in the bedroom. I'll be honest. I love my husband.
What about
I'm probably bored for him.
Oh,
he's probably over me and me not being spicy and sassy. So
just do something unexpected.
Like what?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like what?
Like what?
How graphic do you want me to be?
Yeah, girl.
There's something you don't do before, or don't. Maybe lay in a way that you don't normally.
This is good.
Gosh, lay or position yourself.
That is so good. I love this.
All right.
Woo.
All right, so let's... Before we let you go, we got to hear all about your newest venture into clothing and retail. Give us all the details.
So the Candace Cameron Bure clothing line is exclusively sold at QVC. We just debuted last month to a sellout, which was like mind-blowing. I was so happy. This little top, I have jeans on too. They're from the line. You know, the clothing line has a lot of elastic waistbands, but they're not your mother's elastic waistbands, okay?
Don't forget, you guys, to check out all of Candace's brand on her website, CandaceCBure.com. Also, check her out on QVC. Candace, thank you so much for joining us and for being transparent.
Thank you so much, ladies.
We just appreciate you. We really do. We'll be right back.
The Colonial Pipeline is one of the country's main sources of fuel. Its closure could affect your summer travel. Let's connect the dots. The Colonial Pipeline runs from Texas to New Jersey. It carries more than 2.5 million barrels of fuel every day. That's everything from gasoline to heating oil to jet fuel. It's responsible for almost half of the entire East Coast fuel supply. So what's this mean for you? Experts say rising gas prices are a real concern. Anytime there's a supply issue, prices are likely to surge. But there could also be major impacts to air travel. The Colonial Pipeline provides jet fuel to Charlotte Douglas International. More Americans are vaccinated and traveling, increasing that demand. Experts say we could really start feeling these effects if the pipeline remains shut down for 5 days. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Welcome back to DBL. If you've spent the past year doing any home improvement projects that could help lower your insurance rates, we're chatting about it in today's Bang for Your Buck, presented by The Hartford. Home improvement projects that reduce the chance of property damage or burglary will save you money. We're talking about things like a new roof or security system. Kitchen upgrades can make a difference too. Plumbing and electrical renovations can reduce the risk of flooding and fire, which can lower your premiums. Sometimes home insurance can also help pay for repairs or cover damage resulting from poor contract work. And certain upgrades will increase the value of your home, like a swimming pool. We've made it easy when it comes to quality and affordable insurance. The Buck's got your back. The Hartford will be happy to provide you solutions. Call The Hartford at 1-800-684-6085 or visit thehartford.com to learn more, including a chimney sweep.
What year is this?
Okay.
I don't even, where do you even hire one of those? Down at the town square?
Wait a second. You don't sweep your chimney?
No, I don't even know.
Alper, I'm nervous for you.
All right.
If you don't sweep your chimney, you have like such a higher likelihood of having a house fire. And if you want to lower your home insurance, you need to have regular chimney sweeps.
That sounds like code for like therapists.
It really does. Like,
are you guys
like
serious?
You need to sweep her chimney more than once a month?
Wait, is Erica on here? Erica, is Erica on here?
No.
Okay,
it's just
Erica would back me up.
Yelling about chimney sweeps to Erica, who's not here.
If you guys, do you both use your chimney?
I don't have a chimney. I have an electrical fireplace.
Oh, do you have a chimney?
Teach us how to clean our old black kettle next when no one uses these things.
Sam.
Wow, okay.
Don't you guys wax your Porsche?
It's not expensive to clean a chimney.
I know.
But you need to. It could save you from a house fire. Make sure your chimneys are clean. We'll
Are
be right back.
Are chimneys sponsoring this segment?
We'll be right back.
That was a hard take.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The United States is creeping toward another sad milestone in the coronavirus pandemic, 600,000 dead. But as in most tragedies, there are stories of hope and inspiration. And today we want you to meet a young woman whose gift of digital art is touching lives all over the nation. Everyone, please meet Hannah Ernst. Hello, Hannah, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. You are the 16-year-old artist behind the Faces of COVID communities on Instagram and Facebook. And I want to start by passing along our condolences because we understand the inspiration behind the art is the passing of your own grandfather last August due to COVID-19. What can you tell DBL Nation about him, and why is his passing, why did it motivate you to do this?
So my grandpa was just amazing. He was everything that you would wish a grandpa to be. I mean, no matter what I was doing, he was my #1 supporter, and losing him the way I did just really enforced the fact that I needed to do something to make sure that everyone else who was going through the same thing I was got some sort of healing.
I love that. Now, at this point, Anna, you've created more than 1,400 memorials for families. Amazing. What are the families telling you about what these mean to them as they grieve? What are the messages that you're receiving back?
I mean, it's amazing. Families are so grateful because I think, unfortunately, the lives lost to this pandemic are erased in a sense just because they're looked at as statistics. And so when their person is individualized from the ever-rising death toll, I think it really just gives them a sense of validation that their loved one isn't forgotten and they're remembered.
The portraits you've made, that no doubt they're shared on social media, but families can now also memorialize their loved ones on their clothing, stickers, even on face masks. Talk to me about that. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Well, thank you. I wish I could take credit for it. Actually, a daughter of someone I was able to memorialize, she came to me and she's like, look, I'm a college student and I really would love to be able to get a sticker of my dad. But, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it myself because this is your artwork. Is there any way I can get it from you? So I was introduced to Redbubble, which is a third-party website that basically allows me to upload the forward. Yeah, and it's incredible because all of these people are able to get masks. They're able to remember them with pillows. It's amazing.
That's so wonderful. I'm an art history major, so mixing art with grieving and psychology is just so up my alley. Hannah, we're so sure that your grandfather is proud of you and the help you're giving families through the grieving process. We thank you for sharing your time with DBL. Now listen, everybody, you can find Faces of COVID on Instagram and Facebook. The Faces of COVID Memorial Store is on Redbubble, like we said, redbubble.com. I think you're wonderful, and I think you're more mature than any 16-year-old I've ever met. Congratulations. Continue doing what you're doing and giving hope and giving something tangible to a lot of people where it's just up in the air. So thank you, Hannah. We really appreciate it. We'll be right back.
On DBL. You know him from shows like Will and Grace and American Horror Story. We're talking live with actor Leslie Jordan. And in an all-new True Crime Chronicles, could this man be connected to the 2017 deaths of 2 8th graders in Indiana? That's tomorrow, only on DBL.
You do not want to miss a single moment. Welcome back to DBL. Erica, I wanted you in the last segment because I know that you also love a good fire. Do you clean your fireplace? It's a big deal, and they're acting like I'm crazy.
No, it's a very big deal, Sam. I'm glad that you addressed this issue. I do not have a chimney because we have an electric fireplace, but I wish I did because I love the nostalgia and the smell of the
Jeff, let me
wood.
tell you what just happened.
No, this is her argument. She's talking about electrical.
She just called her star witness up. And this is going to close Sam's case, and Sam's star witness says, I don't know where I am.
Sam has a
Let me
gas
go
fireplace.
Home. Yeah, there's nothing. She has no argument, Jeff.
Yes, huh? What are you talking about?
Well, I can't argue with that.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you,
same time,
Erica.
same place. Bye, guys.
What we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
It sounds like a movie. Hackers shut down a critical pipeline. Now gas stations are running dry. How does this even happen? The plot thickens in the wild tiger on the loose story in Houston. A man who could be the owner has been arrested, but where's the tiger? Are Ben and J.Lo back on? 17 years after their breakup, even Ben's bud, Matt, is weighing in.
I love them both. I hope it's true. That would be awesome.
And our week-long series with your favorite 80s stars continues with Candace Bure. We're asking her the question on everyone's mind.
Have you checked in on Lori Loughlin since her release from prison, and how is she doing?
Real, honest, entertaining, live.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2,
Yes, welcome to DBL. It is Tuesday, May 11th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. All right, so we do have a little bit of a movie theme going on today. Our first story sounds like it's straight out of a Tom Clancy movie, so brace yourself. But instead of Patriot games, this is gas games, okay? Gas stations up and down the East Coast have closed their pumps. There are long lines of cars. North Carolina has even declared a state of emergency. It's all because computer hackers shut down a critical pipeline that runs all the way from Texas to New Jersey, which transports about 45% of the fuel used on the East Coast. The president has promised swift action, saying the Department of Energy is working to get the pipeline back up by the end of the week. So you may be wondering, how did this happen? Well, even this sounds like a separate movie plot. A Russian hacking group known as the Dark Side is said to be responsible for launching a ransomware attack, holding the pipeline hostage until the company pays them a hefty ransom. But some are saying, should the U.S. do more? Should they be even involved in this? Here's what Newt Gingrich, did I say that right?
Yes.
Said on Fox News.
Second time you got it.
Face.
We ought to pass a law immediately that makes it this kind of hacking subject to a death penalty, and the law should include a provision that the president, through a judicial process, should be able to order the killing of anybody overseas who's doing this.
Wow. I did not expect that. That was the first time I heard.
I think it's appropriate if this is Game of Thrones. Like, what do you did we not do this during when Wells Fargo got hacked, or Chase, or Target? Like, what kind of law? That's not what we need from our leaders, even our former leaders. We need solutions, not bomb them. What are you, 7? Like, let's figure out why this happened. And a lot of this is when politicians go out and say we need to help, we need to beef up our infrastructure. They're talking about stuff like this, but people hear infrastructure and they think bridges, and their eyes roll back in their head. They think it's boring until you're in a 4-hour-long gas line.
Yeah, listen, nuking them is not the answer.
Yes.
That's definitely not the answer.
Almost never the answer.
But neither is paying them. You know, we should never negotiate with terrorists. This is kind of a terrorist situation that we're dealing with. We need to take it serious. I'm a little even nervous about throwing the word Russia around there. It's not Russia, it's a Russia terrorist group. Even that kind of scares me, because then people immediately go, well, let's just start bombing people. It's like, listen, they're a superpower, we're a superpower. It's not a good idea to be throwing down nuke weapons.
We have terrorist groups over here. What if we just started bombing the United States because
that's not a great idea.
Some rogue group did something?
Well, not only that, this company is saying, well, they're not saying much at all. But this isn't the first time that this has happened to a big company that could give out whatever hefty paycheck that this Dark Side is asking for. And when that happens, because I went down the rabbit hole.
The pipeline?
The Dark Side.
They give you a key. So this Dark Side gives them, don't look at me like, let me finish. The Dark Side gives them a key to unscramble the data. How cool is that? Is that not, I mean, it's not a real key, but it's the key to unscramble the data. I mean, it's not cool, but it's literally, it's just like, I can't even wrap my head around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's blown away. I do. Like, we're going to scramble all your data, and then if you pay me, I'm going to give you a key to unscramble the data. That, to me, sounds like a movie plot that we've never even seen play out in a movie.
Yeah, I do find it interesting, Sam. I don't know if I find it cool, though, because right now we're the vulnerable ones. We're the ones that hopefully will be able to restore a fossil fuel pipeline. When we have these conversations about fossil fuel, we rarely talk about how much we are actually in need of fossil fuel. Yes, we need sustainable energy sources. Yes, we need green energy. But now we'll be having this conversation about how these things are going to be expedited, because the idea that a foreign adversary can come over and shut down our main source of energy, basically, and no one is like freaking out about this.
Oh, people are
freaking
out.
Interesting.
People are freaking out.
Well,
believe
I'm
me.
just saying.
And I corrected myself when I said the word
this is a conversation
cool.
we should have.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It just blows my mind. Blows it. Okay, this next story is straight out of the Revenge of the Nerds. I hate you both. Stop. The movie, only this time it features some well-known nerd billionaires. We're getting some new details about a young Bill Gates from his biographer. He claims Bill was notorious for throwing naked pool parties with strippers he hired, for being a womanizer, even after he met his future wife, Melinda Gates. Fellow billionaire Jeff Bezos is also making headlines for the $500 million he just splashed down for a new luxury mega yacht. The 412-foot boat that's being built as we speak is so big it'll need a support yacht with its own helipad, according to Bloomberg. Meantime, Elon Musk is continuing to bask in the glow of his recent SNL performance, proving that he's not just a stellar CEO for companies like Tesla and SpaceX, but can also rule the airwaves. If you put these three together, and then also add in Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, because why not? Well, they have a combined wealth of $574 billion. That's equal to the total value of the goods and services made in Sweden last year. So how do you feel that these four people have so much power, so much influence? I don't think anybody should be able to have that much power and influence, in my opinion. Al?
I mean, this is what we talk about when we talk about deregulation. And like you look at the coal, the railroads. There was all these, oil. The people that initially got on these became the Rockefellers. They became these people with wealth that we still see today. And I just don't know if that has worked out well for us, Erica, Jeff, and Sam, as a people. When there's always 3 or 4, there are almost always men that have all the money, and the rest of us is like hoping there's some kind of trickle down. But it just doesn't seem like it works. It just seems like they figure out ways to hoard wealth, avoid taxes, and keep that money going, and no one ever gets any better. And these people who have a support yacht, first of all, first rapper to use that, they're my favorite. It doesn't seem like it works for the people.
Well, what do you think, though, really quickly, because before we get into the weeds, and maybe we shouldn't, considering this is daytime TV, but what do you think about Bill Gates being like this womanizer and throwing naked parties with strippers? I mean, I think a lot of people are shocked by that.
I think when you have money like that,
allegedly.
When you have money like that, you throw a party that you think everybody wants, right? You're going to have girls there, you're going to have this there, you're going to have that there, and everyone's like, oh, Bill's so cool. It's not necessarily he's like with all those women, you know what I mean? He's paying people to be there so he looks popular.
I think you're overcompensating. I think someone like that, and I've seen it in the club. When I used to work as a waitress in the club, we would get a lot of Silicon Valley billionaires and millionaires coming in, and you could tell, were flaunting, were overcompensating. They would always have like a bevy of women around them, and I thought that was weird. And it was, to me, it was a turnoff. Like, love your brain, don't love your flex. Okay. All right. Finally, Erica, we've got an update to the Texas Tiger King-like story we talked about yesterday, Tiger on the Loose. If you recall, Erica, there was a tiger prowling a Houston neighborhood over the weekend. It had gotten out, and there was even a confrontation with a man holding a gun as the tiger was about to pounce. Eventually, another man came and took the tiger back inside. Now that man has been arrested after a short police chase. Turns out he's currently out on bond after being charged in an unrelated murder. But get this, he's saying through his lawyer that the cat is not his. And meantime, that tiger is still missing. And if you're wondering, do tigers make good pets? Here's what the head of the Humane Society said about it on the Today Show.
It is incredibly inhumane to have tigers in your house.
Erica?
Well, I would have rather talked about Bill Gates' naked pool parties, but
Girl,
this is.
Go, Erica. Comment on both.
I just want to know, why is anybody surprised the fact that Bill Gates had naked pool parties at his house?
Thank you, Erica.
That is not a shocking revelation. I would have completely, and see, when you brought up the bottle service thing, I was like, girl, yes, that's exactly what I was going to say to you. The flex, the flex, the flex. Because after a while, what else are you spending your money on? Also, I'm not going to shame exotic dancers and people who decide to take their clothes off for a living. There is a whole billion-dollar sex industry, and a lot of people take part in it. So to act like this is something that's taboo in our society, it just simply is not at all.
I'm just going to, Erica, I'm going to tie both these stories together. I think the reason you have a tiger is to show off. I think the reason you have a yacht that has a baby yacht with it is to show off, and you're showing off for the opposite sex or same sex, whatever you are interested in. Bill Gates is no different. You're talking about bottle service in an entourage. You could have been describing any rapper, any rock star, any athlete. everybody has these things because when you have money, you want to let people know. Even Bill Gates.
It's true.
With them glasses.
Jeffrey?
I don't know if it's showing off. I think sometimes you just need another form of entertainment.
No, it's showing off, Erica. For sure, it's showing off.
Honestly,
Yeah,
you need
all those
entertainment.
people
After
there
a while, the
are
regular
his
stuff
friends.
don't cut it.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know. Everybody wants to party like that sometimes. I'm sorry, even Bill Gates.
It does sound like a good time.
It's sad when everybody goes home and you're $1 million less and you're like, wow, I'm by myself.
Yeah, but you have
know
$1
what I mean?
million to spend.
It doesn't make you happy necessarily.
Wow, yes,
Well, let's try it and see.
Cute. Okay, coming up on DBL, we're talking to your favorite stars from the 80s, and today it's Full House actress Candace Bure.
DJ.
Yep, and we're asking her about her former castmate Lori Loughlin. Plus, are Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez back together? The new clues that could spell a rekindled romance between the stars. And our medical expert Dr. Payal Kohli is tackling the latest COVID-19 headlines. Don't go away.
Closed captioning provided by
You know how kids don't play outside as much as they used to? Well, now experts say that trend has an unusual side effect. Children's eyesight is getting worse. Let's connect the dots. Nearsightedness is on the rise in kids. Also known as myopia, that's when you can see up close objects clearly, but things that are far away are fuzzy. It can be caused by genetics and the environment. But experts say myopia has increased so rapidly that it can't be blamed on genetics. In the United States alone, it's gone from 25% of the population back in the 70s to 42% today. In Southeastern and Eastern Asia, it's estimated 80 to 90% of high schoolers are nearsighted. So what is causing this increase? It might seem easy to blame all that screen time kids have these days, but experts say that's not the direct reason. It's actually because children are getting less natural light. Researchers say exposure to daylight and focusing on things far away outside can delay the onset of myopia. And the pandemic has made things worse. New research shows the eyesight of children quarantined during the onset of coronavirus deteriorated rapidly. There is something parents can do about it. Experts say it's not practical to take away screens altogether, but you can impose some rules. They recommend a practice called 20-20-20. That's where you take regular breaks every 20 minutes to look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And of course, more time outside could make a real difference. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Each new positive development in the pandemic brings us closer towards the end. Earlier, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, spoke to Al and Lindsay about some of today's latest COVID-19 news. Take a look.
So the FDA just authorized the Pfizer vaccine for people ages 12 through 15 for emergency use. That makes it the first shot for anyone under 16. So Dr. Kohli, what else can you tell us about this development? Is this a huge step towards a normal life?
You guys, this is a huge, huge, huge step towards normalcy. So what we're seeing is that as we got our older adults vaccinated, the virus found a new host. And what we're seeing now is that almost 1 in 4 cases are in children. So the virus has shifted to our children. So the kids have essentially become a reservoir for the virus. So without vaccinating the kids, there is no way we could have kicked this virus's butt. So I'm really excited about this development because I think it's symbolic of the fact that we're winning this fight. And now with getting getting our kids vaccinated will get them back to summer camps, back to school, back to get-togethers, back to all the things that make our life so fulfilling. So, Al, I have to ask you, you have some adolescent kids. I know some parents are hesitant. Are you going to get your kids vaccinated if this gets authorized by Thursday?
You know what, Doc, just to show you how hesitant I am, I just want to pull this text up from last night at 7:49 p.m. I texted FDA authorizes Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for adolescents, and my ex just texted back, woohoo. So yes, we are definitely getting these kids vaccinated. I want to get them back to life. I want them to enjoy their young lives. We only get to be young 12, 13 once, so I don't want them in the house worried about some disease. And with that,
good choice, Al.
Yes, I'm gonna make sure they have fun. You know, they've dealt with this enough. It's time to move on. Speaking of moving on, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson just relaxed social distancing restrictions, including overnight stays for singles, which is way to just take all the steam out of that. He's basically saying casual sex. What does this mean for Great Britain? Do you think that's a good thing to okay overnight stays?
You know, I have to tell you, I've never been a fan of endorsing casual sex, but I will say that this is a positive development because it's really a sign that life is coming back to normal because of those vaccines. And we're seeing that as the uptake of vaccination increases in the UK, they've been struggling for so long with that variant. Their cases are coming down, their death numbers are in single digits. And so this is, to me, really a sign that we're headed in a positive direction. Now, I do want to warn all the Brits, if you are going to have casual sex, one very important question to ask, in addition to asking what you like to do in your free time, is whether or not your partner has been fully vaccinated.
Yes, and what's your last name is also a good one.
And Dr. Coley, we're so looking forward to the idea that we maybe be able to get together this summer with everybody.
Oh, my goodness.
Please.
Yes, let's do this.
So thank you so much, Dr. Coley. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Doc.
Nearly.
The Colonial Pipeline is one of the country's main sources of fuel. Its closure could affect your summer travel. Let's connect the dots. The Colonial Pipeline runs from Texas to New Jersey. It carries more than 2.5 million barrels of fuel every day. That's everything from gasoline to heating oil to jet fuel. It's responsible for almost half of the entire East Coast fuel supply. So what's this mean for you? Experts say rising gas prices are a real concern. Anytime there's a supply issue, prices are likely to surge. But there could also be major impacts to air travel. The Colonial Pipeline provides jet fuel to Charlotte Douglas International. More Americans are vaccinated and traveling, increasing that demand. Experts say we could really start feeling these effects if the pipeline remains shut down for 5 days. And that is connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. We all know people, and maybe you're one of them, that are totally obsessed with their smartphones. Well, now there's a new landmark study that's out that says smartphone users have become, quote, human snails carrying our homes in our pocket, and that we now have a tendency to ignore friends and family in favor of our phones. So the question is, do you know anyone like this? And what does this mean for us and our relationships if we can just disappear into our smartphones and ignore the real world around us? I wouldn't say this is anything new, right? I mean, I'm glad that we have yet another study, and I know your feelings on studies, but this isn't anything new. I hate my phone. I hate it. I have a hate-love relationship with it.
No, you just said you loved it.
I know. But it gives me anxiety. I tend to get addicted to things, so I have to put it away when I get home.
And that's what I do. This is something that I take like seriously, and I actively I'm like, what am I doing with my phone? I kind of, like I said, I'm off social media right now. I'm taking a break from it. When I get home, I just want to play with my kids.
Same.
I'm with my family. Someone's going to text me. I want to be with my family. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. But you have to actively work at it.
I feel like Erica's always had like really kind of solid rules when it comes to your phone, like especially when you get home. Is that true, or am I just putting that on you?
No, I appreciate that. That's something I said during like the first week of season 1 has stuck with you for like 4 years. That means so much to me. It really does. It really does, because what I was saying was that in order to protect my space and my energy, it's really important that I do not allow social media, like people who I would never invite into my home, to come into my home in this way. So I have to be the guardian of that ship. But I have to tell you, the busier and more spread out you are, it's so much harder to do that. So I'm definitely guilty of it, because I'm working. Like, we use our phone to work, and so does my husband. So that's been very difficult. But at the same time, there is a way to do it and not feel like completely stressed out by it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Sam, because you run a business at home, so you need to be on your phone, but like you have a love-hate relationship, you have 2 kids you're crazy about. Like, how do you balance that? Because I'm sure a lot of our viewers have at least one side hustle, if not 2.
Right. I had to compartmentalize. And so in the beginning, I had the mentality of like out of sight, out of mind. So every email I would want to tackle, every text message I would want to tackle, just so it wouldn't build up. And then I realized I was always half present with my children. And it became very depressing, and I knew that there was this void here that I was mishandling. So now I dedicate maybe a half an hour at the end of the day to go through emails, maybe an hour in the morning, and that has completely saved me, not only as a co-business owner, but as a parent. So
that's great.
Yeah,
that's smart.
It's a daily battle, though, let me tell you. Okay, so coming up on DBL, we are chatting with Fuller House star Candace Bure and asking her if she's spoken to Lori Loughlin since her release from prison. You do not want to miss that. Still ahead on DBL.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify exists to clear up misinformation and answer your questions, big and small, about the coronavirus pandemic. One viewer named Carol asked us, quote, what metrics will determine when the pandemic is over? Is there a data target of sorts? So let's verify. What does it mean for a pandemic to end?
Pandemics don't end in a bang, but in a whimper.
That's our first source, Dr. Stephen Kissler with the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. And one way that the pandemic could end is simply that there's no more COVID. SARS-CoV-2 just stopped spreading. But our experts say that this one is pretty unlikely.
So instead, what I think we'll be looking for is something where COVID poses a similar risk on the population level as other things that we're familiar with. Flu is another really good example here.
Dr. Linda Nabha, an infectious diseases expert from the University of Pittsburgh, agrees.
Infection rate, hospitalizations, and deaths are sort of the 3 major endpoints we look at, in addition to what we've talked about before is herd immunity.
Herd immunity is when enough of the population has been vaccinated to protect those who haven't been. And really, our experts say that the end of the pandemic will depend on where in the world you live. Here's an example. Let's take these 2 infectious diseases, HIV and tuberculosis. The WHO says that 1.5 million people still die from TB every year. And in 2019, almost 700,000 people died of HIV-related causes. Dr. Kissler believes that they're both still pandemics, but they're mostly affecting low to middle income countries.
I think that may be what we transition into, where under some definitions, SARS-CoV-2 will continue to be a pandemic.
So we can verify that we'll watch for infections, hospitalizations, and deaths to go down in order to reach some sort of end. But when that end is going to depend on where you live. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. Okay, so Debbie on Facebook says ransomware is no joke and it's not new. Jan on Facebook says, I always told my son to be nice to the quote unquote nerds he was in school with because one day you just may be working for them.
Mm-hmm. And also, I think everybody's a nerd about something.
Yeah, I do too.
Right? Don't you? Some people, you look at people that are into sports, but they're only into like GM, salary caps and things like that.
What?
That's nerd. Like salary caps, like figuring out which players you can sign because of their, and like that's math. But it just is associated with baseball, so you're allowed to kind of say, oh, I'm into sports, but you're just into math. It's cool.
Is that something that you're into? That's pretty cool.
I'm more into like analytics in terms of like how many 3-pointers you should shoot as opposed to taking 2-pointers and just.
I like it.
That's like it's interesting.
Yeah, very cool. If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube, chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be a part of our DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up. We are catching up with Full House star and Hallmark movie queen Candace Bure. Plus, are Ben and Jen together again? The new clues that could mean a renewed romance between Ben Affleck and J.Lo. And a big thank you to our coworkers watching from home right now. We miss you guys. Keep up the great work. DBL is new every day. We'll be right back.
Is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. So big news in Hollywood. Could Bennifer be back on. Jennifer Lopez and her ex Ben Affleck were recently spotted hanging out in Montana this past weekend. According to TMZ, they were staying at the same resort in Big Sky near Yellowstone National Park and were seen driving around together. As you remember, the two were nicknamed Benifer back in the early 2000s when they dated. They got engaged, but then broke it off in 2004. Still, Ben's BFF, Matt Damon, told the Today Show he's hopeful that the two have rekindled their romance. Watch.
That's a fascinating story.
All right, should we let him off the hook?
I hope it's true. I love them both. I hope it's true. That would be awesome.
Meantime, J.Lo's ex, Alex Rodriguez, was reportedly shocked and caught off guard about the reunion as he believed the two would one day get back together. J.Lo and Ben haven't commented about their relationship. I heard you have a theory.
Ooh, I do.
Talk to me. I haven't heard this.
So Alex Rodriguez was allegedly with Madison LaCroix, okay, from Southern Charm. So my theory is everyone has an ex that your partner is always jealous of, right? They always bring him up. What's with you and this person? What's with you and that person?
Why are they texting you happy birthday?
Yeah, exactly. So that person for their relationship was Ben Affleck. So she's like, you want to mess around with this reality star? No problem. I'm just going to spend a weekend with Ben Affleck in Montana. How's that make you feel, A-Rod?
Yep, and like
Erica, what do you think?
It's an interesting theory.
I appreciate
that. It is very interesting. Yeah, I do remember the end of this relationship, though, and it seemed like a lot was left unresolved. In fact, I think Jiggly actually, was that the name of the movie?
Jiggly, I
That's
think.
the name of Lindsay's dog is Jiggly. Jiggly was the...
That's not the name of her dog.
Jiggly was the spoof X-rated movie.
It is the name of her dog. All right, let's not get off on that.
No, it's not.
All right, we'll solve this at the end of the show.
She named after Jay-Z. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, it felt like that kind of forced the end of that relationship.
I once saw J.Lo and Ben Affleck driving together in a convertible gold, I guess it was like a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. It was one of those like bigger, really fancy cars. And let me tell you, I almost crashed my car as I was like spying on them as
more stalking stories from Sam. No,
you saw Ben
I knew
Affleck
that was coming from Al.
If you saw Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez driving in a convertible gold Rolls Royce way back when, you wouldn't have rubbernecked?
Not at all. That's not.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just going to say this about my theory, and I'm going to try and keep this super daytime. But I think that everybody on this planet that has dated multiple people has one person that you may realize is not great for a relationship, but in football terms is always good to have on your bench. You know, sometimes you need to call in that quarterback that's good for the fourth quarter.
Atlanta.
Erica,
he's right.
do you want to do this?
You're right.
I do not have Al. I do not. There is not a single one. Not one. Not one should be. My bench is cleared.
No helmets, no nothing.
Nothing.
Well, okay. All right. Well, Tom Cruise is the latest celebrity to protest the Golden Globes. Tom returned his 3 globes to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association in protest over the lack of diversity among its members. Yesterday, the Globes announced a bunch of proposed reforms, such as recruiting black members and hiring diversity advisors, but said it would take 18 months to do all of that. So NBC said it will not air the Globes next year or in 2023 until the changes are in place. And this week, Scarlett Johansson and Mark Ruffalo spoke out against the reforms, saying they didn't go far enough. Scarlett also said she faced sexist questions from some members during interviews that bordered on sexual harassment. Now, not only that, Jeff, you also hear some of, members have been accused of accepting bribes and gifts in order for those films to be nominated. So it's not only the sexual misconduct, it's not only the gross lack of diversity, but also the fact that they supposedly are accepting some pretty interesting bribes.
Yeah, well, the numbers show that these award shows are on the decline, right? It's just antiquated. We have an award for everything. These celebrities are going every single week to an award show. Have the Oscars, that's it. People are getting tired of people's political opinions. I believe that's why some of it's going down. The lack of diversity, they haven't caught up yet, and I feel like the actors are getting ahead of it because they know these award shows are going to shut down, so they're trying to do the right thing in the process. I don't think the award show is going to catch up, though. I think they're going to be canceled before they could catch up.
Well, I mean, Eric, I want to get your thoughts. I just think that we're in a day and age where people are realizing two things. One, that you have leverage, whether you are an entertainer, whether you are a combined group of workers with a like mindset, you do have leverage. And second of all, any process, even if, remember the Olympics, it was found out with the Olympic Committee that they were taking bribes and things like that. Anytime there's a closed door meeting process about how things are being handled, that lends itself to corruption, Erica. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think transparency is everything. It's not even so much what's happening, it's also how it's happening and how it's being emboldened to happen. And when you aren't audited in a public platform, then yeah, anything goes. I think the idea of actors returning their award really goes more to setting the credibility of this award back. And if this is something that they're going to take 18 months, nobody has 18 months for anything these days. No one's waiting around for 18 months. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, then we've already forgotten about it.
Well said. Well said. Okay, so actor Donald Glover is calling out cancel culture. Donald recently posted on Twitter that he noticed some people were having a discussion about how tired they were of reviewing boring stuff on TV and film. So he tweeted out his thoughts saying, quote, "We're getting boring stuff and not even experimental mistakes because people are afraid of getting canceled." Interesting. You're shaking your head, Jeff.
Amen. I mean, this is 100% true from the top down. I understand people have responsibilities and people have jobs, and I don't just mean above me, but I'm just trying to break things down for you. You're not allowed to be creative anymore because people are too afraid of offending somebody. So if I offend someone on this show, that goes not only just to me getting fired, now the whole network's in trouble, and the head of producer's in trouble. Why did he say that? Why didn't you have a meeting with him before he said that? There's conversations that we have on the show that I want to go deeper, and I'm like, man, I don't want to go there because I want to keep my job, and I'm scared to say things on this show. It's the same with creative people. They're writing things down, and they're like, I can't say this anymore for the fact that I might be canceled. If we're having a conversation about Caitlyn Jenner being the governor of California, I might be 100% on Caitlyn's side, all in. Here's all the attributes that she has to be the perfect governor. If I misgender her and say he, nobody cares about what I said or how in support I am. All they care about is the misgender, and now let's get Jeff fired. That's where we're at in television. That's where we're at in entertainment, and I'm glad Donald Glover said something.
Jeff, I agree with you in terms of that's where we are in entertainment, but I think what we fail to realize is people in their 40s is that there are two kinds of entertainment now. There's entertainment that Sam or Erica will turn on when they get home and kick their shoes off and want to relax for a second, but there's also a whole new class of entertainment, and that is going after people, that is critiquing things, whether it just be art or music, and just tearing it down to the point where you start to see artists that are already probably reclusive by nature anyway, just realizing if I put a song out and it's experimental, I've used a xylophone I've never tried before, if it doesn't work, you're gonna it'll be played forever. And so as a comic, when I go on stage and I talk live for a living, I have to think about every word coming out of my mouth because something I say could affect Erica, could affect Jordan, could affect your two kids. So yes, we are in a place where that is another form of entertainment, is critiquing things, and when that momentum builds, it can cause networks and entertainment things to shut things down. So I get what you're saying.
Okay, so, wow, good conversation. I was lost between the two of you. Okay, so Real Housewives of Atlanta star Porsha Williams is engaged to her former co-star's ex. Let me break this down for you, and then I'm going to have Erica break it down even more.
Yes.
So Porsha announced on Instagram that she is now engaged to Simon Gobadiah after a month of dating. And wow, okay, there it is. Yep, that's the ring, you guys. According to Page 6, the ring that he gave her is between 12 and 14 carats, worth about $1 million. So Simon's ex, Fallon, appeared on the show with Simon as a friend of Porsha's last season. They split last month and reportedly finalized their divorce after 2 years of marriage. Porsha also made it clear that she and Fallon are not friends. So Erica, break it down more for us, please.
I am shook. I have been shook to the core of my being. When I saw this go down, because it went down kind of in increments, like I saw Porsha talking about it on Dish Nation, where she was like, yes, I do have a new love. And then I saw the picture from Mother's Day where she was standing in between her ex-fiance, who's also the father of her child, Dennis, and Simon, who apparently is now her new fiance. And she had her hand with a big ring on it, and she had her hand on Simon. And we're all like, huh, that's interesting. Why would she have her hand on on Simon. And then it was announced, after she said she would have more to say on it, that they were actually engaged. Now, here's the thing. Simon, the new fiance, it was actually friends and associates with the ex-fiance. And apparently they're doing this thing called adulting and grown menning, where they are co-parenting, although they say this relationship has only been a month in. Now, everybody's going so hard on Porsha, and I understand because we all take our personal experiences as if we were scorned, if we were in a relationship, if somebody moved on faster than we moved on, and we apply them to people that have nothing to do with us. So a lot of people are giving her backlash saying, you stole that woman's husband, you were all up in them people's pool at her house, which I would have a problem with if somebody came to my house and then she ended up with my husband because I let her in. So that's another thing. But also, Simon's equally as culpable.
Right.
So I think really what's happening is season 13 of Real Housewives of Atlanta was an absolute bore, and now Porsha is holding this whole thing on her back, or Bravo is going to give her her very own Black Modern Family, and I am here for it.
Ooh, whoa.
That was a breakdown.
Wow.
I feel like I understand it now.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I know. Erica's really good at that. I got lost in Erica. I fully was like, drinking my tea over here. Okay, so coming up on DBL, a week of your favorite 80s stars continues with actress Candace Bure. And we're asking her the question on everyone's mind, Lori Loughlin. And our DBL staff is working hard at home during the pandemic. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by...
You know how kids don't play outside as much as they used to? Well, now experts say that trend has an unusual side effect. Children's eyesight is getting worse. Let's connect the dots. Nearsightedness is on the rise in kids. Also known as myopia, that's when you can see up close objects clearly, but things that are far away are fuzzy. It can be caused by genetics and the environment. But experts say myopia has increased so rapidly that it can't be blamed on genetics. In the United States alone, it's gone from 25% of the population back in the 70s to 42% today. In Southeastern and Eastern Asia, it's estimated 80 to 90% of high schoolers are nearsighted. So what is causing this increase? It might seem easy to blame all that screen time kids have these days, but experts say that's not the direct reason. It's actually because children are getting less natural light. Researchers say exposure to daylight and focusing on things far away outside can delay the onset of myopia. And the pandemic has made things worse. New research shows the eyesight of children quarantined during the onset of coronavirus deteriorated rapidly. There is something parents can do about it. Experts say it's not practical to take away screens altogether, but you can impose some rules. They recommend a practice called 20-20-20. That's where you take regular breaks every 20 minutes to look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And of course, more time outside could make a real difference. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Candace Bure has been a household name since her day as DJ Tanner on the beloved sitcom Full House. Years later, she reprised her role on the equally successful Fuller House, and earlier she joined us to tell us all about what she's up to today. That's today in our special series, Favorite Stars of the 80s. Candace Bure, welcome to DBL. Now, before we get to your fabulous clothing line, the 5th and final season of Fuller House debuted last year. But if you could keep playing DJ Tanner, and I'm crossing my fingers here, in a spinoff, would you?
Oh, yes. Of course I would. It's like a no-brainer question. I love playing DJ. She's such a huge part of my life, and I love the show. I hope we get to do a third iteration of it.
Your TV dad, Bob Saget, recently came to your defense when you were described as fake. Why did someone say that? First off, I don't even care. And how did he chime in on your behalf?
There's lots of people that think I'm fake because I'm a generally happy and positive person
I feel you.
have a lot of joy. I've known Bob for 35 years. You know, we have a long-standing friendship. So of course it feels great. And I appreciated it very much. But he's like one of the dearest people in my life.
I know how close-knit you and your cast are on Full House. So that being said, have you checked in on Lori Loughlin since her release from prison, and how is she doing?
Yes, I've talked to Lori many times, and she's doing well.
So you're currently shooting your 10th Hallmark Christmas movie. Our viewers here know that I watch every single Hallmark movie. I'm obsessed with Hallmark movies, especially Christmas ones.
Oh, boy.
You also mentioned that with each movie, you've become more and more anxious about filming, even though you've been in the industry for God knows how long.
There's something about the Christmas movies because they're very special and people love them so much. They genuinely mean a lot to them during the Christmas season. And so when you have some of the most anticipated movies, it has been a layer of pressure that gets added every year to make sure the movie's going to be as good as the next one. This last year, it just kind of hit me. It's like, you know, one day you feel like you're going to fall off that pedestal, and I'm like, and so what if I do? It's okay, Candace.
Talk to me about spiciness, all right? I'm about to be 9 years married, and you had a very spicy marriage, and it goes with your faith. And I just have to say,
give us some tips.
I need the secrets, and I want to know, because I think that's a really, really important thing for a marriage, to have a base in that you still are attracted to each other. Talk to me about that.
You know, I think it's important. You got to keep it up. The longer that you're married, it's so easy to take each other for granted, or, you know, like you know each other so well that you forget. So you have to keep it spicy. And I love that. That's what my husband and I do. And that's why we'll be, I think one of the reasons we'll be celebrating 25 years of marriage this year.
Wow.
That's incredible.
25 years of marriage.
I just can't.
I know. And Candace, I am a little bored in the bedroom. I'll be honest. I love my husband.
What about Mark?
I'm probably bored for him.
Oh,
he's probably over me and me not being
Mark
spicy and sassy.
So just do something unexpected.
Like what?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like what?
Like what?
How graphic do you want me to be?
Yeah, girl.
There's something you don't do before, or don't. Maybe lay in a way that you don't normally.
This is good.
Lay or position yourself.
That is so good. I love this.
All right.
Woo.
All right, so
like, whoa, you'll surprise him.
Before we let you go, we got to hear all about your newest venture into clothing and retail. Give us all the details.
So the Candace Cameron Bure clothing line is exclusively sold at QVC. We just debuted last month to a sellout, which was like mind-blowing. I was so happy. This little top, I have jeans on too. They're from the line. You know, the clothing line has a lot of elastic waistbands, but they're not your mother's elastic waistbands, okay?
Don't forget, you guys, to check out all of Candace's brand on her website, CandaceCBure.com. Also, check her out on QVC. Candace, thank you so much for joining us and for being transparent.
Thank you so much, lady.
We just appreciate you. We really do. We'll be right back.
The Colonial Pipeline is one of the country's main sources of fuel. Its closure could affect your summer travel. Let's connect the dots. The Colonial Pipeline runs from Texas to New Jersey. It carries more than 2.5 million barrels of fuel every day. That's everything from gasoline to heating oil to jet fuel. It's responsible for almost half of the entire East Coast fuel supply. So what's this mean for you? Experts say rising gas prices are a real concern. Anytime there's a supply issue, prices are likely to surge. But there could also be major impacts to air travel. The Colonial Pipeline provides jet fuel to Charlotte Douglas International. More Americans are vaccinated and traveling, increasing that demand. Experts say we could really start feeling these effects if the pipeline remains shut down for 5 days. And that is connecting the dots.
back to DBL. If you've spent the past year doing any home improvement projects that could help lower your insurance rates, we're chatting about it in today's Bang for Your Buck, presented by The Hartford. Home improvement projects that reduce the chance of property damage or burglary will save you money. We're talking about things like a new roof or security system. Kitchen upgrades can make a difference too. Plumbing and electrical renovations can reduce the risk of flooding and fire, which can lower your premiums. Sometimes home insurance can also help pay for repairs or cover damage resulting from poor contract work. And certain upgrades will increase the value of your home, like a swimming pool. We've made it easy when it comes to quality and affordable insurance. The Buck's got your back. The Hartford will be happy to provide you solutions. Call The Hartford at 1-800-684-6085 or visit thehartford.com to learn more, including a chimney sweep.
What year is this?
Okay.
I don't even, where do you even hire one of those? Down at the town square?
Wait a second. You don't sweep your chimney?
No, I don't even know.
Albert, I'm nervous for you.
All right.
If you don't sweep your chimney, you have like such a higher likelihood of having a house fire. And if you want to lower your home insurance, you need to have regular chimney sweeps.
That sounds like code for like therapists.
It really does. Like,
are you guys
like
serious?
You need to sweep her chimney more than once a month.
Is Erica on here? Erica, is Erica on here?
No.
Okay,
it's just
Erica would back me up.
Yelling about chimney sweeps to Erica, who's not here.
If you guys, do you both use your chimneys?
I don't have a chimney. I have a electrical fireplace.
Oh, do you have a chimney?
Teach us how to clean our old black kettle next when no one uses these things.
Sam.
Wow, okay.
Don't you guys wax your Porsche?
It's not expensive to clean a chimney.
I know.
But you need to. It could save you from a house fire. Make sure your chimneys are clean.
Are chimneys sponsoring the segment?
We'll be right back.
That was a hard take.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The United States is creeping toward another sad milestone in the coronavirus pandemic, 600,000 dead. But as in most tragedies, there are stories of hope and inspiration. And today we want you to meet a young woman whose gift of digital art is touching lives all over the nation. Everyone, please meet Hannah Ernst. Hello, Hannah, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. You are the 16-year-old artist behind the Faces of COVID communities on Instagram and Facebook. Hannah, I want to start by passing along our condolences because we understand the inspiration behind the art is the passing of your own grandfather last August due to COVID-19. What can you tell DBL Nation about him, and why is his passing, why did it motivate you to do this?
So my grandpa was just amazing. He was everything that you would wish a grandpa to be. I mean, no matter what I was doing, he was my #1 supporter, and losing him the way I did just really enforced the fact that I needed to do something to make sure that everyone else who was going through the same thing I was got some sort of healing.
I love that. Now, at this point, Hannah, you've created more than 1,400 memorials for families. Amazing. What are the families telling you about what these mean to them as they grieve? What are the messages that you're receiving back?
I mean, it's amazing. Families are so grateful because I think, unfortunately, the lives lost to this pandemic are erased in a sense just because they're looked at as statistics. And so when their person is individualized from the ever-rising death toll, I think it really just gives them a sense of validation that their loved one isn't forgotten and they're remembered.
The portraits you've made, that no doubt they're shared on social media, but families can now also memorialize their loved ones on their clothing, stickers, even on face masks. Talk to me about that. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Well, thank you. I wish I could take credit for it. Actually, a daughter of someone I was able to memorialize, she came to me and she's like, look, I'm a college student and I really would love to be able to get a sticker of my dad. But, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it myself because this is your artwork. Is there any way I can get it from you? So I was introduced to Redbubble, which is a third-party website that basically allows me to upload the forward. Yeah, and it's incredible because all of these people are able to get masks. They're able to remember them with pillows. It's amazing.
That's so wonderful. I'm an art history major, so mixing art with grieving and psychology is just so up my alley. Hannah, we're so sure that your grandfather is proud of you and the help you're giving families through the grieving process. We thank you for sharing your time with DBL. Now listen, everybody, you can find Faces of COVID on Instagram and Facebook. The Faces of COVID Memorial Store is on Redbubble, like we said, redbubble.com. I think you're wonderful, and I think you're more mature than any 16-year-old I've ever met. Congratulations. Continue doing what you're doing and giving hope and giving something tangible to a lot of people where it's just up in the air. So thank you, Hannah. We really appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Tomorrow on DBL, you know him from shows like Will and Grace and American Horror Story. We're talking live with actor Leslie Jordan. And in an all-new True Crime Chronicles, could this man be connected to the 2017 deaths of 2 8th graders in Indiana? That's tomorrow, only on DBL.
You do not want to miss a single moment. Welcome back to DBL. Erica, I wanted you in the last segment because I know that you also love a good fire. Do you clean your fireplace? It's a big deal, and they're acting like I'm crazy.
No, it's a very big deal, Sam. I'm glad that you addressed this issue. I do not have a chimney because we have an electrical fireplace, but I wish I did because I love the nostalgia and the smell of the
Jeff, let me
wood.
tell you what just happened.
No, this is her argument. She's talking about electrical.
She just called her star witness up. And this is going to close Sam's case, and Sam's star witness says, I don't know where I am.
Sam has a
Let me
gas
go
fireplace.
Home. Yeah, there's nothing. She has no argument, Jeff.
Yes, huh? What are you talking about?
Well, I can't argue with that.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you,
same time,
Erica.
same place. Bye, guys.